We are live at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California on a simply magnificent Sunday afternoon. Today, the Nascar Craftsman Truck Series set to go racing for 300 laps. I'm Eli Gold along with Larry McReynolds. Glenn Jarrett is down on the pit lane, and TNN Motorsports glad and proud to be with you here at one of the West Coast's most famous short tracks. Let's take a look at the General Motors starting grid, the cars most champions trust. The trucks today, Ron Hornaday. He's popular out here, and he has the point lead. And another Californian, Joe Ruttman, sharing the front row. And Larry McReynolds, as we take a look at this starting grid, let's talk about this Mesa Marin Raceway. It's, yes, your basic half mile, but it really doesn't drive that way, does it?
Relate this place to North Wilkesboro. It's hard to get a hold of. The racetrack gets really slick, and tire management, that's going to be the clue here. The guys have got to make their tires go for 100 laps. If they ever abuse them, then they're going to be in trouble and then get some fresh tires on those trucks.
There you see some more of the starters here this afternoon. Michael Dockin and John Nemechek. They'll be sharing row number 8. Bill Sedgwick and Kenny Wallace. Kenny is the only NASCAR Winston Cup driver on hand here. Everybody else, with the exception of you and me, Larry Mack, have taken this weekend off.
Well, you know, Ernie, he ran this race a year ago, but I think Mrs. Irvin threatened him pretty severely if he come out and run this race. But these guys are going to put a great show on for us. Had a tight qualifying battle last night, and interesting to see how it goes here, especially with this points battle.
And Glenn Jarrett, it is he who slides the least at Mesa Marin who is likely to get the checkered flag. At least that's what the locals will tell us.
And they're absolutely right, Eli. Tire management is a premium here. You have to take care of tires. Now, we're going to see 2 mandatory caution flags from NASCAR. One between laps 95 and 100. The second one between lap 195 and 200. That caution will serve as the halftime break, even though it's 2/3 of the way through this 300-lap race. You got to know your math if you're going to work with NASCAR. It's a little confusing to me. But anyway, that's what we're going to see today. Any other time they come in their caution, they can change tires under the mandatories. They cannot change tires any other time unless it's a NASCAR-approved change, meaning they got a tire going down, a cut tire, flat spot, or something of that order. But take care of those tires, guys. That's all the crew chiefs have been saying all morning long.
We'll be carrying cameras with you aboard numbers of these trucks here today. We take a look at Mike Bliss. He'll be carrying an onboard camera for us. He'll be starting, as you see, in the 9th position. We'll also be riding along with others throughout the course of this day. There's the Ray Bestis machine. You're familiar with the fact that Butch Miller was the driver. Kenny Irwin is now taken over in preparation for next year. Brian Ruffner will be carrying a set of cameras for us here today as we give you a good close-up look at this tough little short track, Mesa Marin Raceway. Lance Norick also with a camera on board. This racetrack is 17 degrees of banking in the turns. The straightaways basically flat, 7 degrees, and those straights are 700 feet long. This is the 3rd time that the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series has run here. In April of a year ago, they ran 125 laps with Hornaday getting the win. They ran a 200 lap here in October, and Mike Skinner got the win that time around. Now dropping to the rear of the field, you've got Kenny Irwin going back there. He, having not been here all weekend, running and reassuming the lead in the USAC Silver Crown Championship. He is now back to the rear of the field, as you see. And now we come to the green as the chief starter, Chris Morgan from Santa Barbara, California, sends them on their way. They get around the Mesa Marin Raceway here in Bakersfield, California. Ron Hornaday shows the way. Nathan Butke with a good jump there in the 2nd spot. He's in the 75 Spears truck, which was a major player on the West Coast for so many years when Bill Sedgwick was behind the wheel of their car and later the truck.
What you see, Eli, these trucks, they're trying to get to the bottom groove. The way around Mesa Marin is in the bottom. There you see Jack Sprague hung on the outside. He's wanting to get to the bottom of the racetrack. That's the way around.
17 failing to start. Jerry Robinson's truck did not fire. They were pushing it to the garage area. Everybody else is on the way as Sprague now challenges for the lead and challenges for the series point championship if he can do it. Sprague enters the race in the 24 truck. Just third spot, 22 points behind second place Skinner, and then 128 behind the series point leader Hornaday.
Sprague's truck's really working pretty good up that second groove. They put a sealer on this racetrack before we come here, but we got to remember we've had 300 laps of racing 2 nights in a row, and the sealer's gone off the bottom groove. There you see Hornaday, and I watched him last night qualifying. He puts those left side wheels almost in the infield to get around this place. But the sealer's still in the second groove, so you maybe can get a little bit of bite there, but again, I think the fastest way around is around the bottom.
Working lap number 5. Hornaday the leader, Sprague is second, Butke is third, Rutman is fourth, Skinner is now in the 5th spot. Good run in 6th place for Kevin Harvick. Not a surprise, he is a former Mesa Marin late model sportsman series champion, so he knows this racetrack as well as most anybody out there. There's Kenny Wallace, the 22. 17 is Bill Sedgwick. They work the middle of the field right now. They're running back in 16th and 17th spot, and Kenny told me this morning, he said Eli just didn't qualify worth a lick yesterday. He said, but we can get the job done here today.
I talked to him as well. They made a 70-lap run yesterday in practice, which is what you've got to do, especially when you don't have the luxury of coming in and changing tires every time the caution comes out. Was real happy. They actually quit practicing earlier. He also told me likewise. He said, I probably won't qualify right up front, but I feel good about this truck for the race.
Lonnie Cox has his truck on the pit lane. He's been bothered by a tender ankle, an injury suffered this weekend. Working lap number 9. There's a good scramble again. John Nemechek in the 8, Kenny Wallace the 22, Sedgwick the 17. The 53 is Dan Press, another West Coast standout. They're running from 17th on back.
Bill Sedgwick really had high hopes coming here to Mesa Marin. He has 6 career wins here, and he said, look, we've saved our best truck and our best motor. We've come here to try to win this race. His
wins all coming in Winston West competition, but as we've said time and again, the chassis are basically the same as a Winston Cup or a Winston West car. There's Sprague again in the 24, trying to sneak a peek inside of Hornaday.
If he's going to get under Hornaday, he's going to have to drive through the grass, I believe. Hornaday is not giving that bottom groove up.
Statistically, all Hornaday has to do, and granted he wants to win the races, but all he has to do is finish 6th or better here and at Phoenix and in Las Vegas, and the championship is his, regardless of what anybody else does.
And you know, that's really a tough situation because, you know, to win the championship, you've got to do what got you there. What got you there was finishing in the top 5 and winning races. But now you look at it maybe from a little different angle. You know you've got to still finish as high as you can. You've got to have those good top 5 finishes, but you got to keep looking over your shoulder. And for instance, in the case of Hornaday, it's Skinner and Sprague, who also is running up front every week.
Now, we talked about Hornaday. He has victories here at this racetrack. He and Rick Corelli, as a matter of fact, each have 3 victories here. Mike Skinner has won an event here, and as we've said, Sedgwick is so very strong. So is Doug George. The ortho truck is what we might see, and even Joe Rudman ran here back in his early days when he was operating out of Upland, California. We are 14 laps complete of 300 on a half-mile track, 150 miles of racing for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on a magnificent afternoon in Bakersfield. We're coming back. As you see the leader, Ron Hornaday, here at the Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California. There you see Kenny Irwin, who we told you yesterday had a great day. He finished 2nd and 3rd in Sacramento, California, and reassumed the lead in the USAC Silver Crown Championship. But that good luck didn't carry over to today, Larry.
No, it really didn't. You know, he spun out a while ago, and right in front of the leaders, he didn't go a lap down, but right here you see they go off in the corner. Irvin's on the high side, trying to get down. Refner just didn't back off the gas, and Kenny Irvin goes spinning around.
And as a matter of fact, Brian Reffner was brought down the pit lane for a stop-and-go penalty as a result. Now, we have cameras on board that Ray Bestis truck. Let's take a look and see exactly what it looked like to Kenny Irwin as he works now back on the speedway. Here it is again from his view.
You see they come down the front straightaway. Goes off in the corner. They get the beating on each a little bit and spinning around there. And but fortunately, he was able to continue on and did not go a lap down at that point.
Now we've got caution on the speedway for an incident that has just taken place in turns number 3 and 4 of the 65 truck. That's Kenny Allen. He spins through the corner, and Kenny Allen just ahead of the leader in that instance too. Hornaday brings out the first caution of the afternoon. It'll fly in lap number 27 for the leaders.
And we was just talking about Kenny Irvin. This is the break he needed with spinning out a while ago. He stays on the lead lap. He's able to go around and catch up to the tail end of the field
as Kenny Allen spins. So we are under caution for the very first time here at the Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California. 27 laps are in the book. The leader is now Jack Sprague with Hornaday in second, Joe Ruttman running third. The fourth spot belongs to young Nathan Butke, and Mike Skinner is in fifth. We're coming back with more from California in a moment. Order as we welcome you back to Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California with Larry McReynolds and Glenn Jarrett. I'm Eli Gold. Onto this first caution, again a look at what happened just in front of Ron Hornaday moments ago when Kenny Allen had his problems up in the corner. Give you a good look at all the action that took place in turns 3 and 4, and I'll tell you, there have been a couple of scary moments to the lead trucks already today, Larry.
There really has. You know, this is a thing that Ron Hornaday's got to be careful that really can't control. There you see he goes to go around Kenny Irvin, and something happens to Kenny Irvin's truck. I see there the 65 truck spun in front of him, and Jack Sprague, that's how Jack Sprague got by Hornaday, and really a close call, and I think Glenn Jarrett maybe has an updated story on that.
I do, Larry. When the 98 truck got hit by the 44 truck, we showed that before we went to break. He got him in the left rear. Gary Showalter, the crew chief, thinks that it might have bent the rear end housing. The truck, the handling just went all askew on it. He hadn't been able to get a grip on it then. Then they were coming up to lap him when that incident happened down there. He actually beat him back to the line, but the caution didn't come out. He slowed down thinking that that was the caution lap. They went on and lapped him, and the leaders didn't actually take the caution until the next lap, so he lost a lap. On top of that, Larry, he's out of brakes. He's pumping them. They're not coming back at all. So not a good day at all for Kenny.
Not at all. You know, you're only showing 31 laps on the board, and you got 300 to run. And again, this place, I got to believe, is pretty hard on brakes. You know, you carry some pretty good straightaway speed. You got to really get on those brakes getting off in the corner.
Is it possible the driver could have done that by his lonesome 31 laps in? I mean, can you cook them that quickly?
Well, what'll happen, Eli, is if a truck is not turning in the middle of the corner like it should, a lot of times hitting the brake pedal will help the truck turn. So sometimes you can do that a little over-aggressive in the beginning of the race and get in the brake fade real early.
The field getting the 1 to go signal as you look at the Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California. Very clean, very pristine racetrack here. My first visit, you were here last year, Larry, but my first visit here, and this is a jewel of a little short track that the Collins have put together out here. Glenn's got a further update on the pit lane.
Yeah, Eli, I think Kenny Irwin may be coming in a moment, but also a couple guys were reporting loose. The 75 truck of Nathan Butke. Also, I saw Toby Butler from about the center off. He is telling his crew that his truck's getting a little loose too. I tell you, this hot sunshine's going to take its toll on those tires. As I said at the beginning, take care of them.
Temperature in the high 80s here in Southern California today as we are set to go back to green. It'll be lap number 33 on the board.
There you see we've already got some lap trucks, so Sprague and Hornaday's got that to contend with. Of course, they clear them there as they go off in the first corner.
Meanwhile, Kenny Irwin does take his truck down the pit lane with no brakes. The crew comes out to slow it down, and here's the battle for the lead. Hornaday to the outside of Sprague, and Ruttman is just waiting and watching, and Hornaday gets the fans cheering here. They love him out here on the coast.
They really do. And, you know, it's almost like he caught Sprague by surprise there on the outside of him. Maybe Jack expected that move so early in the run here after the caution.
Ruttman now trying to work the inside if he can, but they're right on the apron. I mean, they're on the flat of this racetrack, aren't they?
It's really a wide racetrack, but the way around, as we spoke earlier, it's right around the apron. You'll see most of them put those left side wheels right on the apron, and what that will also do, instead of using the brake so much, when you get those left side wheels down on that apron, that'll make the truck turn as well if it's not turning like it should.
As our pal Buddy Baker likes to say, so if you use that apron, the rest of the track is just scenery. And by the way, congratulations to Buddy Baker. He is one of the newest inductees to the International Motorsports Hall of Fame. That announcement made just the other day, along with other greats, including Richard Petty. So our congratulations to our TNN cohort, Buddy Baker, who was with you earlier today in Nashville, Tennessee for the NASCAR Slim Jim All-Pro Series. We are 37 laps in here at Bakersfield.
We heard Glenn talking about a lot of the drivers complaining about being loose, and I think that's the thing here, is getting good forward bite to the rear wheels up off the corner. You have to pull in low enough gear to you get that power down the straightaway, but you got to finesse that gas pedal when you get back to it, especially as the tires get some laps over.
Good battle for 7th spot you're looking at there. Mike Bliss in the 2, Rick Corelli right behind him in the Remax truck, number 6. Again, Corelli has 3 wins here. Mike Bliss, meanwhile, one of only 4 drivers to have competed every lap in the 2 races here at Mesa Marin last April and again last October.
I think where Mike Bliss really shines, and I think his 2 wins earlier this year shows it, is a track like this where tire management is so important, where you got to finesse that truck and really take care of those tires. That's where Mike Bliss really shines.
That's Bliss right there in the 2. Skinner in the 3, just ahead of him. And Corelli in the 6. We're seeing that constant belch of flame from out of the headers every time Skinner goes through the corners.
Well, again, that's that 9-to-1 compression. That's that fuel just burning in that exhaust pipe. And, you know, it's been a good time to talk about the exhaust pipes. As I walked through the garage area this morning, I have never seen so many different configurations on exhaust pipes. What the problem is, they're trying to keep the noise level down here at Mesa Marin, and they even have a decibel meter that they've been measuring the noise, so that the crew chiefs and crews have really had to be working on that.
There you see Corelli in the number 6. He just tagged the wall moments ago, but he continues on. Yeah, it's interesting that the county out here, the city of Bakersfield and the county, have noise abatement rules, and there is a decibel meter, as you say, that measures the noise coming out of each individual truck. When you have to put a muffler on, what does that do to the performance of trucks and cars? Because it's not unique here to Bakersfield. There are other tracks where there are noise limits in place. What does that do to your performance?
Well, of course, we've never had to run mufflers on the Winston Cup cars, but what our guys in the engine shop see when they run them on the dyno, because we're nestled right there in the middle of the city of Charlotte, and the neighbors like it when we run our mufflers on our dyno.
Sure.
But it does hurt the power a little bit. But of course, if everybody has to run them, then it certainly should be consistent. But again, the mufflers was not completely getting the sound down like it should. So what most of these trucks did, where instead of running the exhaust out the sides of the truck, they've got them actually dumping underneath the truck on the pavement. That certainly helped muffle the sound some.
You're looking at the battle for the lead. Right now, they're about 7 or 8 truck lanes ahead of 3rd place Nathan Butke. Let's check back in with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Larry, just to add a little bit to what you're saying, I talked with some of the guys too, particularly Will Lind on the number 3 truck, and by dumping that exhaust right underneath there, it comes out right underneath the driver, so the driver smells a lot more fumes than what he normally does, and also there's an excessive heat buildup too, so a lot of problems there. A hot day like this, not making it any better.
We are live in Bakersfield, California. 46 laps complete. There's 3 races remain to settle the battle for the championship in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
When Ron Horn...
We are back in Bakersfield, California. There go the lead trucks to the outside of Kenny Hendrick, a local favorite out here. Got to give Sprague credit. He's right there hounding away on Ron Hornaday.
He really is, Eli. And you know, we're halfway through this first 100 laps, and this is where taking care of those tires gets so critical. I know we keep talking about that, but you just start burning the rear tires up, and as they catch these lap trucks, it's even going to make them abuse them even more.
Right behind them, right behind the leaders, there you see Skinner again belching that flame we had talked about, and Mike Bliss right behind.
You know, watching Skinner, you almost got to believe that's the game he's playing here. He's taking care of those tires. He wants to have fresh tires for the end of each of these 100-lap runs, and he knows if he can do that, he can be there bidding for the lead.
This was one of the very last racetracks that Skinner ran regularly before heading east. He's from California. A lot of folks may think he's from North Carolina, spent so many years there now, but he is from out here on the West Coast, and this is one of the last tracks he ran regularly before heading east. But he said to me this morning also that they were they wanted to change a bunch of stuff on the truck. As you see, a good scramble behind Skinner again. He said I guess it was about 10:30 or 11 o'clock this morning Pacific time, and he said, I think it may just be too late to start messing with the truck that significantly.
There was a lot of them that made some late decisions, and you know, it's kind of a fine line there, because what you do, you incorporate some things into the truck that maybe hurts the turning in the center, but what most of them's got to think about, as we keep speaking about, is that forward bite up off the corner. So maybe you got to sacrifice a little turning in the center to keep the thing tight up off the corner.
55 of 300 laps are complete. Meanwhile, here comes Bill Sedgwick now into the view. There he is in the number 17 truck, moving up into the 8th spot. Sedgwick has 6 Winston West Series wins here, to his credit. Again, figured if he was going to pull off a victory this year, this might be the track. With certainly not going to give up on Phoenix or Vegas, he said, but here, same thing Rich Bickle's bunch was hoping for, as well as he runs short tracks. They said this might be their day, and Sedgwick is coming to the front.
He really's been playing it smart. He's been running a smooth line, and you know, he's really needs something to turn their season around, even though they only have 3 races to go. You know, he's only had 1 top 10 in the last 8 races, so they need a good run here today.
A lot of traffic there. The leaders just went around the 11 truck of Mike Hurlbert. Now they'll get plenty of room to the inside of Andy Ginsman in the 25 machine. When you need the width of the racetrack, it is here.
It is here. Yes, you can run up there, and they sealed this racetrack over the winter, and a lot of things play in the factor there. They, again, as we spoke, they run all these laps on the bottom, still got that sealer up at the top, but the more laps that get run up there in that second groove, the sealer gets off and gives you a little bit of a racing groove up there.
A lot of the guys were saying that even though they have experience here over the years, most all of the events here at Mesa Marin, as we see Sprague again trying to challenge for the lead, but getting spoiled that time by Lance Norrick in the 90. A lot of guys saying that the regular races are all nighttime affairs here. The Southwest Tour, the local late models, the Winston West, and now, of course, it's in a 90-degree afternoon here. He said, a lot of the guys said it's a whole lot different, even more so than the way we talk back east about Bristol and all of that kind of stuff. That here it's really different for them. Oh, troubles now as one truck spins. That's Michael Dockin in turn number 1. He's in the bunch entry here this afternoon, and caution is on the speedway. Caution flying for the second time. It will come out at lap number 62 as young Michael Dockin spins up in the corner, driving the Bunce Racing Chevrolet here today. Very talented young driver. We were laughing this morning. He weighs like 130 pounds. I mean, it's like should be a jockey.
You would think it'd be tough for him to wrestle one of these machines around a racetrack.
Heck, I've got legs that weigh 130 pounds. I mean, the kid's, he's a small guy, but he is a very, very talented race car, and in this instance, truck series driver. So caution flying for the second time. We're going to break away and take care of a little business. When we come back, we should be going back to green, as we'll be heading towards the first competition break of the day at lap 95, just about 33 laps from now.
Today's exclusive race coverage on
Bakersfield, California, TNN Motorsports with today's live coverage. Good scramble for the lead now. Jack Sprague trying it again. He's had the lead for 8 laps earlier today. Let's see if he can get Hornaday this time.
You know, it's almost like Ron's truck don't quite get going on a restart, but after they get a few laps, it comes to life, and he goes back normally and takes the lead. But Sprague's underneath him right there. Sprague's got the groove that he needs and really getting good bite up off that corner.
The blue and white truck right behind them. Nathan Butke is running in 3rd. Joe Ruttman 4th. Mike Bliss is 5th. Rick Corelli is next in line in 6th. Skinner is 7th. Sedgwick now is 8th spot. But the battle for the lead is the one we're all watching.
That's what you call door handle to door handle. You think somebody forgot to tell Ron all you need to do is finish 6th or better in these last 3 races?
Yeah, but he's a racer.
That's it.
He's a
exactly
racer.
Right.
Jack Sprague now does take the lead away, and you know, after a while you've got to start, like we've harped all day, tire conservation. After a while, you know, how hard do you go and start burning up that rubber before you say, all right, go ahead and lead a little bit. Here now, Rick Corelli, we see him with Mike Bliss. They battle. Corelli's been smoking just a bit. Joe Ruttman closer to the front, just gets around the Nathan Butke truck, so move the 80 machine up into the third spot as Butke now is in fourth, and Bliss, you right there, the number 2 machine. He's going to try and get around Nathan Butke. Right behind this pack of traffic, you've got Bill Sedgwick, about whom we were bragging earlier. There you see Sedgwick, the inside truck. He moves with Skinner as they battle for position. Sedgwick, a many-time winner here, and now back up front. For the lead, Hornaday.
It just seems like it takes a few laps for Ron's truck to start working on that bottom groove, and we've been about 4 or 5 laps since the restart. He goes right to the bottom and gets right underneath the spread.
Watching all of this with us here in the booth at Mesa Marin is Richie Klein. Richie is the president of Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and don't you hope we all see racing like this when we come your way in a few weeks?
I sure do. It's great here at Mesa Marin today.
It's great to see you, and I've been out to visit your racetrack already. Congratulations. That's a show place you built just off the strip in Vegas. It's going to be gorgeous.
Well, thank you. We're looking forward to having November 2nd and 3rd.
There you see the Bliss-Corelli battle continuing as we ride with Mike Bliss. Meanwhile, caution is being shown on the speedway now as some problems developed with Dan Press's truck going down the back straightaway into turn number 3, and NASCAR throws the caution. So caution on the speedway at lap number 75 as Dan Press had some problems working the back straightaway. There you see his Craftsman truck, and he's into the attention of the crew here at Mesa Marin. Richie Klein is with us. Tell us about your racetrack. How big, what's the track banking, and so on. What can the fans look forward to when they head to Las Vegas Motor Speedway?
Well, we have a 1.5 mile tri-oval, 12-degree banking on the turns, 9 on the front stretch, 3 on the back. The trucks were out last week, and they were running 174 miles an hour into the turns. They were averaging about 154 miles an hour. So it should be a good race on November 2nd and 3rd.
Be interesting to see how the trucks do in a whole bunch of traffic at those kind of speeds. We'll continue with Richie Klein here in just a bit. There you see the debris with the Dan Press truck that brought about this caution. So stick around. We return to Bakersfield, California, and lots more from Mesa Marin Raceway. We're back in a moment. Getting set to go back to green. Problems, though, continuing with Rick Corelli. You see how badly his truck is smoking. Glenn Jarrett, what's the story?
Here's his crew chief, Eli Rick Wren. Rick, a lot of smoke. What's wrong?
Yeah, we've apparently poked a hole in a radiator and it's out of water, and the oil temps went over 300 and the water temperature's pegged. So we're trying to hopefully get to lap 100. We've only got 1 lap to work on it, but we'll see if we can put some water in and keep it going.
The last thing they wanted was to see another caution flag. We're getting ready for a restart.
Going green in lap number 79 of 300. Ron Hornaday, who has shared the lead with Jack Sprague here this afternoon. The 3rd truck in line, that again is Kenny Irwin Jr. He is not on the lead lap, was trying to get his lap back in the Ray Bestis truck after brake problems earlier, but was unable to do so.
It's going to be tough to make a lap up on those 2 guys, Sprague and Hornaday. There you see Ruttman, he's still there, trying to get by Irvin to get up there to battle with Sprague.
There you see Sedgwick now back into the picture. Works alongside Mike Bliss. That's at the 7th position now. Riding with Bliss. 17 degree of banking, 7 degrees on the straightaway. And finally Sedgwick makes the move. Bliss and Corelli right behind. Remember that Sedgwick started in the 17th position and has moved all the way up to the front now. Richie Klein is still with us, president of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He's in the booth looking on. Some big-time smiles today after the drivers' meeting when the official entry blank for the Las Vegas 420K was distributed, and a first-place purse of darn close to $90,000 when you total all the extras in. I mean, that's big-time money for the series. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. What we've done is try to build a racetrack for the 21st century, and we're trying to bring all the trucks up to it.
$8,800 to finish last. And Glenn Jarrett, they're telling me they're going to have like 70 trucks trying to get into that race. Is there one coming out of the Jarrett garage for their share of 719 foul?
Well, unfortunately, Eli, we can't get one ready that quickly, but I sure wish we could. I got a question to ask Richie. Dennis Huth, who runs the truck series for NASCAR, told me that he was talking to you on the phone about this person. You called him up and said, hey, man, I'm on an oxygen mask now, and he sent you a present?
Yeah, he did. He sent me a beautiful plant courtesy of NASCAR that produces extra oxygen for my office.
Well, I'll tell you, folks, I've had a chance to visit the track. You've got wonderful ingress and egress, some wide roadways leading directly to the interstate. You guys are going to be awfully proud. And I'm looking forward to being there in a few weeks.
Looking forward to having you November 1st and 2nd, 3rd.
Sounds good, Richie. Good to see you, man. Take care.
Thank you much.
Richie Klein, president of Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
This thing's cooked.
Yeah, you're sure right, Glenn Jarrett. That baby looks cooked, doesn't it?
It sure does. Didn't realize I was on there, but the odor down here is awful. They're not going to be able to do much with this thing. It is completely out of water. The engine is just barely running. It sounds like it's on about 6 cylinders, but I don't think that Rick's going to be able to keep it running too much longer. They're putting the water to it, but this looks and smells terminal.
That's Lance Norrick, who has problems there in turn number 4, and caution is on the speedway, although he does get his truck refired and pulls away. But Lance Norrick spins at lap number 88, and caution is on the racetrack for the 4th time here this afternoon.
Comes out with 12 laps before that lap 100 mark, and this is where those guys just need to take care of everything, show some patience with these tires being as wore out as they are, and just get to that 100 lap mark where they can all get them 4 fresh tires.
And again, if you're joining us along the way, we'll mention one more time that they're not going to have the conventional halfway break here today, but instead NASCAR is going to be having, and now there's problems further down in the Corelli pit area, Glenn.
Well, I told you this thing was hot. It finally shut off, and then it caught on fire. The engine compartment caught on fire. I have never smelled anything this bad in my life around a racing vehicle. This thing is absolutely overdone, but brief fire broke out at the back of the engine compartment. They had the fire extinguishers, got it put out. Rick is getting out of the truck right now. We'll try to get a word with him in a moment.
The High Plains Drifter, as they call Rick Corelli, he's obviously okay. There you see Glenn Jarrett with microphone and antenna at the ready. And why don't we check in with Glenn? What's he got to say?
Rick, pretty hot situation there, man. That thing looks like it's cooked.
Yeah, I tell you what, I don't know what happened. Remax Chevrolet was running great. We were just buying our time there behind Bliss. Motor got a little hot when I was running behind him, and I think we cracked a cylinder head or something. We were trying to buy it till we got to lap 100, but it pumped all the water out of it. And I think, we've done a great job all year. It's the first motor failure we ever had. So, it's just a shame. It's early in the race, and we're running for points, and the truck was good. I mean, what can I say?
It's pretty hot underneath the engine compartment. How hot was it in the cockpit? You look like you're pretty steamed, too.
I think I'm more mad because the truck's broke. Actually, it's not that hot out there. It's really, it's good pace. I think you're going to have a good race with everybody, but, I just want to tell my kids hi at home, and, I'll see you when I get home tonight.
And kids don't break any trucks at home.
Rick Corelli, he joins Jerry Robertson and Michael Dockin already in the garage area here this afternoon. Quick reminder, folks, NASCAR Thunder stores are now open and available to you. NASCAR Thunder, the official store of NASCAR. We can get all of the great officially licensed NASCAR souvenir items. Already open at the Gwinnett Place Mall in Atlanta. Already open at the Haynes Mall in Winston-Salem. And there you see the newest locations coming soon. The Westtown Mall in Knoxville, Tennessee, and the Vista Ridge Mall in Dallas, Texas. And in 1997, you can look for as many as 12 additional stores, and locations will be announced throughout the course of the year, but NASCAR Thunder store is taking off like gangbusters, and there's bound to be one near you before too much longer. Back to green.
Hornaday really gets a good jump on that restart. Don't even have to contend with those lap trucks there when you get the restart that he got. And there you see Sprague clears all the lap trucks. Rutman follows him.
Scrambles working right behind the race leaders now. Outside groove for Bliss in the 2. He challenges Brian Reffner there in the 44. The other 1-800 collect truck, that's Boris Sed the 3rd. There you see Sedgwick in the 17 and Kenny Irwin in the 98.
remember that Reffner is 1 lap down. He got that stop-and-go penalty earlier. Him and Kenny Irvin got together.
We're at lap 93. Somewhere between lap 95 and 100, we will have the first caution to be thrown by NASCAR in the competition yellow. That'll be between lap number 95, 1 lap from now, and lap number 100. The other will be later at lap 195 to 200. Well, Joe Rudman might just be tough before this day is over. And there's Rich Bickle beginning to move. He has the inside against Skinner, the 43 and the 3. And Rich Bickle, he was saying today, you know, I've won on tracks like this, like 230 different tracks or something in his many wins. He goes, this ought to be one of those days when I do well.
Skinner really starting to slide backwards. You got to believe they just hadn't quite got the handle on that truck yet, or he's really used his tires up. So I'm sure you're going to see some major adjustments on that truck during this competition yellow, and probably even some major adjustments, even more so when they get a chance to work on them around lap 200.
That's the scramble for 7th and 8th now. The 75 Bucky, the 43 is Rich Bickle. Behind them, that's Butch Miller in the 19, the other of the Walker Evans trucks. 3 is Skinner, 22 is Kenny Wallace right there. That's all from 7th position on back. A good battle.
Nathan Butke, who was up there running in 3rd earlier, he's starting to really slide backwards, so you get the feeling that maybe he's used his tires up by now.
Lap 98. A couple of laps of the caution to be shown by NASCAR. There goes Skinner to the inside of Nathan Butke, and it took him a while there, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, absolutely it did, Eli. I'm checking with Rich Burgess, Mike's crew chief right now. The truck is very loose. What they're going to do is take a rubber out of the front, put one in the left rear to try to hook the truck up off the corner. Mike's having a real hard time using the accelerator. It's so loose off the corner, you cannot get a bite. Caution's coming out right now.
Right, Chris Morgan does grab the caution. He will show it to Ron Hornaday and Jack Sprague. And the competition yellow is upon the field. We'll check out their stops as soon as we come back. 1/3 of the way through as Ford Credit presents the Ford Dealers 300. Now Auto Week presents the week in racing. The attention was on the NASCAR Busch and Winston Cup races last week at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That accident involving the cat car of David Green and Shane Hall in the 85. Number 1 sent Green to the hospital for a checkover and then took away his point lead, handing it to Randy LaJoie in the Busch Series. Mark Martin took the Winn-Dixie colors to victory lane. Meanwhile, on Sunday, early problems for Jeff Gordon relegated him to a 31st place finish in the event. Terry Labonte got the win and is now just 1 point behind Gordon for the championship, heading to Rockingham, and a race you'll see next Sunday here on TNN. Call 1-800-232-1522 now for a 52-week subscription to Auto Week at the special TV price of just $19.95, the lowest price ever. Every week, Auto Week is first with all the inside news of racing personalities, driving impressions, everything. Call now for Auto Week, 1-800-232-1522, and don't delay. This offer is limited. We are with you live at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California, working lap 102, the competition yellow now being displayed. That's how the top 10 is running, and look who's in 10th spot, the guy we talked about earlier, Doug George. He runs this track so very well. Meanwhile, what they do to the Mike Skinner truck, what did they do to the Ron Hornaday truck? Glenn Jarrett's got the story.
Eli, I'll start with Hornaday first because they didn't have to do that much. I asked crew chief Doug Williams, were they going to do anything at all other than change tires? He said no, that's it. They didn't make any adjustments at all. They liked the way it feels. Not the case for Mike Skinner. They took a spring rubber out of the left front and they put one in the left rear. They had a lot of trouble getting up under the left rear, getting it done. Also 4 tires and fuel for Skinner's truck. But Larry taking the rubber out of the left front, putting one in the left rear, what are they trying to achieve?
Well, what that'll do, Glenn, taking it out of the left front actually softens that spring rate. That will make the truck more secure or tighter getting in the corner and through the center. Moving it to the left rear obviously stiffens that spring rate, and that holds bite or wedge in the truck off the corner and will keep it where he can get back to the throttle without spinning the wheels.
So that's a bit of a lesson from Larry McReynolds, crew chief for Ernie Irvin on the NASCAR Winston Cup scene. We're back with more from Bakersfield, California in just a moment. After the competition yellow, the restart in the same order as prior to the caution flag, and the green flies for Ron Hornaday once more, and the scramble behind him has George, the 24 truck, in second. Dan Kress, the 53, trying to make up one of the laps he is in arrears.
Hornaday really got a good restart again. He's really taken full advantage. When he gets to that restart area, he gets to the gas. These new tires make these trucks feel so good.
I bet. I bet. Sedgwick now up into the 4th spot, the number 17, as we see him right there. Little chrome horn to the back of Rutman's truck.
This truck's really working good. He's just been being patient, being smooth, and just taking them one at a time, working his way to the front. And there you see him running in the 4th position as he goes under Dan Kress, going on the back straightaway.
21 trucks still on the lead lap right now. 21 trucks on the lead lap. Hornaday the leader. Sprague second. Rutman third. There's Sedgwick. He's in 4th. Mike Bliss is running 5th. Rich Bickle going in the 6th spot. Running in the 7th position now, they'll show Butch Miller. 8th position is where Kenny Wallace is running. Mike Skinner is in 9th, and 10th is Doug George. 11th is Toby Butler in Kenny Schrader's truck. 12th is Nathan Butke. Dave Rezendes, haven't talked much about him today. He was the winner at Sears Point last week. He is running in 13th position. 14th is Kevin Harvick, the local late model champion here at Mesa Marin. In 15th position is Bob Keselowski. 16th spot, Walker Evans. 17th position goes to John Nemechek, and others on the lead lap are T.J. Clark in 18th position, Jimmy Hensley in 19th. 20th spot is Kenny Hedrick, and 21st is Butch Gilliland. And look at that scramble. That's for position 8, 8 and 9 with Kenny Wallace and Skinner. The 44 and the 28 corporate teammates, if you will, but neither one on the lead lap. Losing a lap on a penalty stop early, the stop and go penalty is the 44 of Refner. Boris said the 3rd right behind him.
Well, Boris has had a lot of success at Trans Am racing, and I talked to him yesterday, and he's run a couple of truck races earlier this year, and he says, I just can't figure this place out. I said, Boris, I know the problem. You need about 600 more horsepower and about 4,000 more pounds of downforce, and you'll have it.
Boris said the 3rd. Meanwhile, Bliss has problems in turn 4. Mike Bliss brings out caution here at lap number 113 as his truck just looped on him out there in the corner.
He's trying to get it going and get back on the racetrack before the leaders come around and lap him. The pace truck has picked up the lead truck, so he's going to get it going, so he will stay on the lead lap.
And that quickly. Problems for Mike Bliss, and caution on the speedway for the 6th time here this afternoon at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California. Tough break for Mike. He was running so very well up in the 5th position, having been bypassed by Bill Sedgwick just a few moments ago.
He was just biding his time and watching the laps wind down, and got in a little bit of trouble there.
So Ron Hornaday continues as the race leader. He took the lead at lap number 72 and continues to show the way here at lap number 114. Ford Credit presenting the Ford Dealers 300. Then from here it's on to Phoenix International Raceway for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and then the wrapper-up of the season at Richie Klein's beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway and their 420-kilometer race there. We're coming right back to restart shortly as we work caution number 6 after the spin by Mike Bliss. We're back to Bakersfield in a moment.
Today's exclusive race coverage on TNN, Ford Credit presents the Ford Dealers 300, is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. And by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more champions trust.
Well, it was a restart, and again, Ron Hornaday has gotten gone, as he likes to say. He just jumped out with a quick go, but the scramble for second behind him by about 9 truck lengths is the good one, as Sedgwick has made the move around Jack Sprague. We've been tracking Sedgwick all afternoon long, and he's got Darrell Waltrip's truck just heading right to the front.
And you know, as I've watched that 17 truck go around here and just kind of patiently work his way to the front, reminds me of the days old DW starting back here about 15th, and he just quietly worked his way to the front. Next thing you know, he'd be up there leading the race.
You know what a win would mean to Sedgwick, not only because he has won here in Winston West competition 6 times, but he is the last of the holdover originals who's been in every event who has yet to find victory lane.
And I tell you, Hornaday has got his hands full right now with him. He has drove right to the rear bumper of Hornaday's truck.
If you're just joining us and curious about the Kenny Irwin Jr. entry after his brake problems of earlier, he is in 31st position, 3 laps down. Let's just watch this battle for the lead. Sedgwick's one of the few guys who've made the outside groove work well, and there's problems in the corner. Lance Norrick again has problems in turn number 1, but this time no caution. Remember, Norrick brought out the caution on the 88th lap. That was our 4th yellow of the day, and there goes the lead. Sedgwick using that outside groove.
He's definitely making that outside groove work, especially from the center of the corner off, and we got a spin.
Problems again up in the corner, turn 3 and 4 this time, as Bob Keselowski has his Dodge truck askew. But the battle for the lead is a dandy, a drag race to turn 3.
There's no caution. He gets it going as the leaders come up and go around him. They split him right down the front straightaway.
Sedgwick's got the lead. Crowd loving it. Sedgwick's got the lead. The first lap he has led all season long. Bill Sedgwick showing the way here at Mesa Marin.
You know, he come here with just such momentum on his mind, knowing that he could get around this place, and he's certainly showing the way right now and has taken the lead with a little bit of ease there.
I talked to Doug Richard, his crew chief, earlier this morning, and Dougie said, like you did it, so I said, is this really your best chassis? He said, we really only have 3 trucks. He said, but it's the one that Sedgwick likes the best. Also battling now for 4th spot, Joe Ruttman. He works to the inside of Rich Bickle. There it is. Ruttman in the 80, Bickle in the 43, and interesting, we bring Bickle on the screen because he'll be joining Darrell Waltrip.
In turn 3.
We got problems up in the corner again. As we're going to say, Bickle was going to be joining Darrell Waltrip next year. That's Andy Gensman, who has spun to bring out caution for the 7th time. It will fly at lap number 127. Andy Gensman spinning up there in turn number 3. But yeah, Rich Bickle moving on to join Darrell Waltrip next year with a combination of Winston Cup, Busch Series, and Craftsman Truck Series events. Let's show you again what happened up here in the corner to bring out the caution, Andy Gensman.
There you see him and Bliss get down in the corner. Looked like they get to beating on each other there going down into turn 3, and it just spins around. And
had Walker Evans there also in the 20. Your basic meat in the sandwich exchange. And here's Lance Norrick, who spun earlier, didn't bring out the yellow.
Goes down in turn number 1. Looks like it just comes around with him. And you almost get the feeling maybe he had a tire going down or something. He's sitting right in the bottom groove. The whole time he's sitting there, the leaders are coming. Fortunately, he gets it going.
Well, Bill Sedgwick is the leader. Last time he led a race in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, October of 1995. It was 1 year ago when Sedgwick last led an event. Meanwhile, there is Sprague. Let's get the story, Glenn.
We're standing beside his crew chief, Dennis Conner, and he's in conference right now with his guy on the team. I can't talk today, Dennis. Tell us what's wrong with the truck.
Well, actually, don't really think anything's wrong with it. Jack said he wasn't going to use up his stuff, quote unquote, to try to stay in front of the people right now, that he's going to kind of save it to the end. On a lap when nothing's going on, we're still running as fast as we were before. I think he just kind of took a tablet right now, and he's just kind of calmed down a little bit. So we're just kind of in a little calm period right now, I think.
I didn't know you could take a tablet for that. Would you send one down here for me, guys? I need it.
Oh, my goodness.
I needed to take one of those a few times this year.
Hey, Larry, by the way, don't you owe me an apology, too?
Oh, I don't know. What's that for?
Well, you apologize to everybody else.
Oh, my. Well, with all of that going on, let's remind you can get all of the inside doings, not just the interesting tidbits we pass along to you, but everything from the world of NASCAR. NASCAR Online, if you're on the information superhighway, www.nascar.com. Just dial it up on your computer, and you'll have that 24-hour NASCAR Garage Pass. And you can also get all the latest racing news by joining TNN. Later today, we'll have Race Day with Rick Benjamin. Coming up this evening, the PM edition of Race Day. Check it out. Green flag and a good scramble for the lead should be in the offing right here.
Hornaday was, even though he was the second truck, he was right on top of that restart. He gets under Sedgwick going into turn 3, has that bottom groove. Remember, Sedgwick's truck has been working good on the outside, but Hornaday gets the momentum coming down the front stretch and takes the lead back.
Crowd loves it here, of course, from California. These two fellas, Palmdale and Atwater, the hometowns for Hornaday and Sedgwick. We're at lap 131 of the 300.
Hornaday definitely gets an A+ today for restarts, but you know, that's what I like to see, a driver that gets going when it's time to get going, and he has really been doing that.
There you see Sprague side by side with Rich Bickle, the 24 and the 43. They scramble for the 4th and 5th spots. The two trucks just ahead of them are not on the lead lap. Kenny Irwin and Keselowski are just ahead. A little touch right there.
Sprague stuck right in behind him. It's around Keselowski. Kenny Irwin's truck is definitely running good enough to run in the top 5, but again, he had that brake problem earlier, and he's down several laps.
Right, 3 laps down at this point, being shown in 31st position.
See Jack Sprague going underneath him through turn 2.
Skinner right behind. He's working in a pack of traffic around Keselowski. And Kenny Wallace spins off the back straightaway, goes sliding towards turn number 3. Caution is on the speedway. There's Herman. Herman the German, as they call Kenny Wallace. He just came sliding out of a pack of trucks midway down the back straightaway. And as you see, came to a stop there just past our camera. As you can tell, the camera from which you're viewing is looking almost straight down. And yellow is on the speedway, lap number 135. Oh, Kenny. He'll get back out there any way he can. The fans love it. We're back to Bakersfield, California. More of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in just a moment. We are live on TNN Motorsports. Well, now there's Kenny Wallace again. He and Dan Press just had a pressing moment out there coming out of turn number 2. Now, I'm sure we'll hear from one or both of the competitors to find out exactly what happened. But Kenny Wallace, after making his agricultural excursion to get back on the racetrack moments ago, was making a few laps, and there he gets together. Let's see again what happened. Maybe we can pick up on it, Larry.
Again, Kenny had went a lap down, and looks like Dan Press just goes up there and says, I don't much like what you did a while ago. Lets him know he's there. Kenny's sitting there on the inside of the racetrack. Dan backs up and drives away and leaves Kenny sitting there.
Little business meeting out there in turn 2. Almost looked as though Kenny had stopped first. Then Press came along, but we'll have to find out exactly as Kenny Wallace now gets pushed back to the garage area. And there you see Dan Press. Butch Gilliland is on the pit lane making an early stop here. He won last week's Winston West race and ran early this season on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series before running out of sponsorship. We are 139 laps complete. 16 trucks still on the lead lap. Welcome back, everybody. Mesa Marin Raceway. Ron Hornaday, Bill Sedgwick, Joe Ruttman, 3 Californians showing the way over North Carolina's Jack Sprague and Rich Bickle of Edgerton, Wisconsin. That's your top 5. We're at lap 145. Meanwhile, what went on with Kenny Wallace and Dan Press? Well, Dan Press has been held 5 laps by NASCAR, and Kenny Wallace has parked his truck. Len, what's the deal?
Well, let's find out. Kenny, some extracurricular activity out there. What happened?
Just good old short track racing, man. I tell you, I was really happy, you know, that we didn't qualify well, but we got up to about 8th or 9th there, and it was a good run, but it was it's like back in our old days, you know, old Jack Ingram and old Tommy Ellis. It was good short track racing.
Any angered feelings? Any hard words going to be said?
Oh, no, man. Hey, I've learned a lot. And all I learned is at this short track racing, but, you know, we just had a good time. Fun to come here, my first time at Bakersfield, and I think if the old boys of it, I know they had the camera on there, you seen what happened. But I'm a good sport, man. We're racing.
All right, the Red Dog Ford lost a dog fight today. He's out of it.
Oh, Kenny Wallace. God bless him. He's got a smile all the time.
Never get him down no matter what happens to him. I believe it was that St. Louis Cardinal hat he had on.
I went by the truck this morning. I said, hey, is Kenny around? And the crew guy stopped and said, I don't hear him anywhere. He didn't say I don't see him. He said, I don't hear him anywhere. There's a good scramble. Dave Resendiz, 9th and 10th. Resendiz in the 7. Nathan Butke in the 75. Resendiz, he and Mike Bliss battling for best in class for Fords here at season's end. As we are coming to the crossed flags next time by, we'll be halfway home. The Gatorade Front Runner Award is on the line right here. $1,000 from the folks at Gatorade. And that honor going to Ron Hornaday as the Vent Visor original update, the most practical accessory for your truck. The folks at Vent Visor bringing you the full field summary as we work the halfway point here at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California. Eli Gold, Larry McReynolds, Glenn Jarrett, the entire TNN Motorsports crew. Next week we're with you for a big weekend of racing at The Rock, the North Carolina Motor Speedway. From there we're with you in Phoenix, Arizona, as the NASCAR Winston Cup season heads to a great finish in the battle for the championship.
Eli, there you see Dave Resendiz. You got to give a call to him. He started back in 21st position, has worked his way up into the top 10, so he's been steadily coming toward the front.
He was out hunting bighorn sheep all week, Resendiz was, after the win at Sears Point. There he is. Instead of going back home to the Carolinas, he and his brother got together in the state of Texas, and they went hunting bighorn sheep. I said, what do those look like? He said, well, their horns kind of go like this, and he motions. It kind of looks like I have a bad hairdo, is the way he put it.
Wonder what you hunt a bighorn sheep with.
With a big old bullet, I guess, or something. I don't know. That is for position now. Kevin Harvick for 10th and 11th, challenging Resendiz. Harvick is the local Mesa Marin Raceway late model standout. Couldn't make the move. There you see Joe Ruttman now in the 80, the white truck, having caught Bill Sedgwick. That's for second place. All of this behind Hornaday. Ron took the lead most recently at lap 131. Now at lap 155, and give Ruttman the spot. That's second place. Changing hands right there. And Joe Ruttman desperately needs a win.
You know, you almost wonder if Sedgwick maybe run that truck just a little too hard in the beginning of this segment. Maybe got a little too much out of those tires in the beginning. Caution is on the raceway.
Caution on the speedway. A couple of trucks got together in turn one. I don't know if maybe some debris was put down on the racetrack there, but caution is out yet again. It comes at lap 157. Caution for the 9th time here today, and we see the race leader, Ron Hornaday, started from the Bush pole. As you look at the beautiful Tehachapi Mountains. We're coming right back.
Today's exclusive race coverage on TNN, Ford Credit presents the Ford Dealers 300, is brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. And by Pep Boys. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price. Tires and service, too. Everything but gas.
Set to go back to green here at Mesa Marin Raceway. We're in Southern California, just about an hour and 3/4 to 2 hours drive northeast of the City of the Angels, Los Angeles, California. Nice part of the country out here. You can see literally from our broadcast booth for miles and miles and miles of mountains ringing this area of Bakersfield. Folks out here love their racing. 10,000 plus is the crowd here today at Marion Collins' beautiful racetrack. Largest crowd ever, they're telling us.
And how about the weather? Just beautiful.
Oh,
and I talked to Marion. In 21 years of promoting this racetrack, he's lost 7 events to rain.
Really? How unusual for a racetrack. Normally the old rule of thumb is if you want to plant a garden, plant it near a racetrack, you know it's going to rain at least once a week.
Especially back on the East Coast.
Green flag in the air as we work lap 159. This event 300 laps in duration. Race leader, Hornaday. Ruttman is second. Good scramble for third. As Skinner and Sprague will go battling for position. There they are. That's third place on the racetrack. Right behind them, Rich Bickle running in fifth position. And all of a sudden, Skinner is back up to sixth, Glenn Jarrett. What all did they do when they, problems up in turn number 4. As a number of trucks get together, a few spin to the inside, some to the outside. Caution is on the speedway. Caution is on the speedway. There you see the Kevin Harvick truck. He is the local late model favorite. We saw that Boris said the third was actually the first truck to spin. Also, Dave Rezendes somehow got through that mess.
They got together up in turn 3 and 4, and there you see Kevin Harvick sitting there. Maybe he can't get it fired. There he gets it going as the leaders come by. So he's going to try to beat them back to the start-finish line, at least keep one of those laps back.
And caution on the speedway for the 10th time. Glenn Jarrett, I was about to ask you about Mike Skinner's truck, the changes they made during that competition yellow. What's Rich Burgess's read on those changes now?
Well, Eli, the changes that they made, really, Rich said they haven't run long enough under green flag yet to tell totally what it does. Mike says the truck is a little better. It seems like the biggest problem they're having right now is with lap traffic. Everybody keeps bunching up on these restarts. He can't never get clear to run the line that he wants to run to really see what those changes have made. Rich says he thinks that Mike said that he thought it would be a little better, but they need a good long run to find out. They still want to make some more adjustments on the truck at the next mandatory caution, which, as I said earlier, will come around lap 195 to lap 200. So really right now the jury's still out. They just don't know. Can't get clean racetrack to run on.
And you know, if Skinner doesn't lead today, it'd be the first race in the last 10 that he has not led. He has led in 17 of the 21 races thus far, but has yet to take a lead thus far. Duraliner Bedliners, the folks at Duraliner who know that beating the leader is tough, bring us this mid-race report just past the halfway point. Those 3 leaders that you see have been Hornaday, Sprague, and Sedgwick. Taking a look at what has gone on up here in the corner. Watch what happens from Mike Bliss's truck.
There you see they go down the back straightaway, off into turn 3. One of the truck gets sideways. There you see Kevin Harvick's truck gets sideways.
Now riding with Lance Norrick.
Off into turn 3 again. Looks like a New York traffic jam up through there. Feeds his way through on the bottom. Basically everybody come through untouched other than a little contact that caused a spin.
And here we go back to green at lap 164.
There you see Hornaday getting that awesome restart as he's been getting all day long.
Of course, that might just come from his truck owner, too. I mean, Dale Earnhardt's so strong on the restarts. Next truck in line, the 53 of Dan Press, is not on the lead lap. There you see the black truck. Man behind him, Joe Ruttman in the white machine, is second. Then you've got Sprague running in third, Sedgwick fourth. Fifth is Rich Bickle. Butch Miller is being shown in the 6th spot. This is going to be big for Butch Miller after losing the ride in the Ray Bestis truck and now getting into one of Walker Evans' second machines and giving it as fine of a ride as he is here today.
And he is going to be in that truck for the remainder of the season in the last 2 races at Phoenix and at Las Vegas.
There's Butch. A lot of talk in the garage, a lot of changes potentially for 1997. There comes Skinner. That's for position. Yeah, they got a silly season here in the Truck Series, too. Good battle right there. The 52, Toby Butler, he is also in the battle for that position. There you've got Sprague in second, Ruttman in third. They are just 7 or 8 truck lanes behind the leader. Now back to the other battle again. Skinner in 6th, Miller in 7th, Butler in 8th.
What we got to remember is Toby Butler's truck was real loose in that first segment, so it looks like they maybe got that truck handling a little bit better.
Toby was in the 21 truck when it ran here last year for their 2 events. Good beating and banging there off the corner.
Him and Skinner got together just a little bit up off the exit of the corner. Nothing intentional there, just good, hard, short track racing.
There goes Toby again in the 52. Meanwhile, up front, Sprague escort Hornaday again. Jack Sprague led from lap 68 through lap 71. We're now at lap 170. There is another competition yellow coming up in roughly 25 to 30 laps. Great scramble for the lead.
Sprague using that high groove. His truck really seems to be sticking there. I believe Dennis was telling us the truth. You know, Jack just wanted to nestle back there, kind of watch the laps wind down, and now with about 29 laps to go before that second caution or competition yellow, he's back up there bidding for the lead again.
Meanwhile, 4th and 5th place on your screen. Sedgwick in the 17, Bickle in the 43. Both of those men desperately wanting victories here today. What do you think on the Sprague truck, though, Glenn? Sounds as though Dennis was telling us the truth.
I think the powder wore off. I think Jack has gotten that little easiness out of his system now. He wants to go to the front. That truck always seems to run better than most of the other trucks at the end of a green flag run. I just saw a little smoke come out of Hornaday's truck when he went by me. He may have run over something on the racetrack. I hope that's all, but a little puff of smoke. We'll keep an eye on it. But I think Sprague's truck, like Dennis said, he's just waiting for things to come to him, and it's come to him right now.
There's the point standings as of this very moment. It was 96 between Hornaday and Skinner coming in. You see how that's spread. It was 22 from Skinner back to Sprague when the race began, and that has narrowed down to just a 2-point deficit for Sprague in the 3rd spot. And those are the only 3 guys who could mathematically win the championship. Dave Rezendes, even with his win at Sears Point last weekend, was mathematically eliminated from winning the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship. Just about 20 laps away for another competition yellow. Ron Hornaday shows the way. Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California. The lead truck right there, Ron Hornaday, beginning now to pick his way around Bob Brevac. He'll work around Rick McRae in the 02 truck. McRae's not run here since 1989. There you've got Sedgwick going around Rich Bickle again. That's the 4th and 5th place scramble. They have swapped it around. Meanwhile, midway down the back straightaway, Toby Butler. We were bragging on him just a bit ago, and caution is on the speedway. Caution. Oh my.
He was trying to get in the pits.
Oh, Rick McRae and Butler, Toby's truck in major flames.
He was sitting there on the edge of the backstretch just trying to get on the pit road. There he gets out safely.
Rick McRae was the other guy in the 02. We had just said he has not run here since 1989. And Toby, obviously the good news out of the truck, but you can tell he's struggling just a bit.
Toby was just trying to get in the pits, and Rick McRae come off turn 2, and evidently maybe his spotter had not made him aware of the 52 truck sitting there, and he hit him running pretty much about wide open.
Sure did. We'll take a look at it again. We were just watching Butler. He said, oh, he's slowing down in caution. Watch this again.
Again, he's waiting for the traffic to get by where he can turn onto the entrance of pit road, which the entrance here is off of turn, and Rick McRae just comes along there and hits him, and flames erupt.
I mean, he drilled him.
Really did.
Others now getting out of their truck. It looked as though Kenny Hendrick midway down the back straightaway, and there you still see some flames. That's Kenny Hendrick we were telling you about moments ago. He had climbed from his truck. A scary, scary moment.
Eli, the entrance, of course, to the pits here is going into turn 3, and that's the reason Toby was there, and they still cannot get the fire out. Fuel just pouring out from underneath that thing, and the firemen really having a tough time extinguishing the fire.
Meanwhile, they have sent an ambulance over to Rick McRae's truck over near the crossover gate. It's virtually right across the track from where you see Toby. There you see McRae's truck. You see the orange gurney, the stretcher there that they have taken. That was a mean lick. And the red flag is now being displayed. Obviously, NASCAR had stopped the trucks on the back straightaway, but at the same time, they hoped to get the area cleaned out. They couldn't. Glenn Jarrett is down in the area. He's checking on Toby Butler. Glenn?
Eli Toby walked back over to the team hauler on his own, but he's complaining of some back pain. He's going to have the medics look at him. And Toby, that was an awfully scary moment. You going to be okay?
Yeah, I think so. You know, we weren't that good to start, and you know, we were just biding our time trying to keep the tires under it. You know, and I mean, we were working on it. It was a little bit better after that first stop, and those guys had pulled away a little bit, but we were overheating a little, and I was trying to save the rear tires, so we didn't really care. Nobody's pressed us for the back, and we were just trying to work for the last 100. And something broke in the drivetrain, and man, I was sitting there, and I just knew someone was going to hit me, and I just held on, and all of a sudden, man. But I mean, I hate it for everybody. It was, you know, destroy a truck for no reason. I mean, I'm sitting there. I should have kept rolling. They told me it was clear, but it was banging so bad I didn't want to tear anything else up underneath. And I thought, man, I kept looking in the mirror, and then I looked down just for a second and didn't even see him coming. And oh well, we'll be back in Phoenix.
All right, we're going to let Toby get some medical attention right now. Toby Butler seems to be okay, but he's going to go get checked out. Scary, scary moment, guys.
Yeah, there's Toby's truck. There you see McRae's truck is right behind the ambulance. And let's watch it now real time from Lance Norrick's truck.
See, they go down the back straightaway. He was right behind Rick McRae and just grilled Toby sitting there trying to get in the pits, and Lance Norrick just becomes a victim of an accident that happened in front of him.
And as we said before, we are under a red flag here at Mesa Marin Raceway. Saw Rick McRae earlier today. His wife and daughter were going on to the church service here at the racetrack, and we were talking just a bit. He said, I hope it's a good day. Regretfully, it was not. We're coming right back.
Today's exclusive race coverage on TNN, Ford Credit presents the Ford Dealers 300, is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running.
We continue under the red flag here at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California. A very, very serious accident on the back straightaway involving Rick McRae and Toby Butler. Toby Butler, from whom we have already heard, McRae still being tended to in his truck, and we are told that he is going to be taken to the local hospital here in Bakersfield. They have already opened up the crossover gate heading towards turn number 3. There you see the attention. His truck, McRae's truck, is on the far side of the ambulance. From this angle, it looks like the ambulance is actually against the retaining guardrail, but it really is not. There you see a better angle, and the Rick McRae truck after the heavy impact with Toby Butler. So while we stay under the red flag, it's time for us to bring you the Dodge Innovation in Motion. The new Dodge, we're thinking ahead. With some updates, here is Glenn Jarrett.
You know, it's always fun when the teams come out to the West Coast and race, but there's a few things different that they have to tend to out here. One, the state of California has a muffler law. These trucks have to run mufflers. They can only make 90 decibels of noise from 100 feet. Now, that's compared to the normal 115 decibels. That's a lot of difference. So to do that, they put the muffler system in here. Now, the muffler system's fine except for one thing. Builds up a lot of excess heat. 9.5-1 compression engines are known for not burning the fuel as cleanly as Winston Cup engines. It stays in the exhaust pipes longer, therefore it builds up heat. So to help combat this heat to build up in the cockpit, in the cab with the driver, they use this high-tech heat insulator. They line the floorboard with it with as many layers as they can get in there. Now, some of the guys, they just simply use regular 5/8 plywood, anything to shield the heat away from the driver to give them a little bit of a break.
That's Glenn Jarrett. We appreciate that innovation in motion. We continue under the red flag. Rick McRae being transported, we are told, to the Kern Medical Center here in Bakersfield, California, for observation after this significant accident involving himself and the truck you see in the foreground, Toby Butler's number 52. Let's remind you that Opryland, the official destination of NASCAR, is a great place to take the family. And for more information about all that's going on at Opryland, want to give them a call at 615-889-6611. That phone line is available to you Monday through Friday. Opryland, the official destination of NASCAR. By the way, immediately following our broadcast, stay tuned. We'll be taking you to Las Vegas, Nevada, the Las Vegas Professional Bull Rider World Finals. Don't miss it. That is coming up next right here on TNN, the Nashville Network. So don't go away. We head to Las Vegas as soon as we vacate the premises here in Bakersfield, California. Well, this race had been clipping along at a very, very rapid pace, even with 11 cautions. They were all fairly quick cautions, a lap or two or three at most, and we were just kind of clipping right along. But obviously now this red flag condition, still shy of the next competition, yellow. This is going to put us down for a short while as track cleanup and attention to Rick McRae continues. Ron Hornaday has been the dominant truck here today, so what else is new? He started on the pole. He has led the most laps, and Glenn Jarrett is standing by with a man who's a crowd favorite here, Glenn.
Oh, he absolutely is. He's got it made right now, Eli. He's got his crew chief, Doug Williams, standing there shielding the sun off of him, but pretty good run so far.
I can't say nothing bad about this Napa Chevrolet pickup truck. It's running good. We're just, like everybody else, a little tight in the middle, a little loose off, but we're going to keep running. I don't think we're sitting there discussing if we're going to make a change, and I don't know if I'm going to or not.
All right, we got a little bit of a break up here. We're going to try to fix that, then we'll get right back.
That's Glenn Jarrett. He's right there in the middle of the back straightaway with Ron Hornaday. Hornaday still in his Napa truck. Even though we are under the red flag condition, some of the drivers electing not even to get out of their trucks, though some have. And let's talk about why the trucks are parked downhill, Larry McReynolds. That's something a lot of folks aren't, it's not for convenience. There's a reason why at a bank track, and there's a red, you will park your car, your truck, what have you, in that posture.
Well, what happens here, we've got 185 laps of racing, almost 2 hours under our belt, a lot of heat being generated. There's always a chance when you shut these trucks off that maybe the starters won't work. So they're sitting in a position where if the starters won't work, they can just push the clutch in and just jump start it just like you would a old straight shift car that won't crank. And, you know, you see a lot of crew chiefs out there. Certainly nobody wanted this opportunity because of Rick McRae and Toby Butler's incident. But this gives a good thinking session to say, okay, guys, we got this break coming in about 15 laps. What do we want to do to make our trucks better for that last 100-lap run? So sure, there's a lot of skull sessions going on out there right now with some strategy on what they want to do to these trucks in the next 15 laps.
I'm sure. Meanwhile, Toby Butler's truck, there you see they've taken it to the outback, or whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of desert here, as you'd imagine, in Southern California, and they've taken it clear of the area. It has still been leaking some gasoline. Some racing fuel is still leaking slowly from that fuel cell, so they have taken it out past the areas here, and we'll keep an eye on that. Glenn, let's see if you sound any better alongside Mr. Skinner there.
Okay, Eli, yeah, that sounds a lot better. We've been following the tribulations and trials of Mike Skinner today, and you guys been struggling, been having to adjust on it a little bit. What does it feel like now, Mike?
They made it a lot better at that break. We're going to make 2 or 3 more little adjustments on the thing, and you know, I think we're pretty good right now. It's just track position's hurting us a little bit. We used up an awful lot of tire trying to get by a lap truck, but I don't know, Glenn. I don't think we're strong as we'd like to be.
Well, I've heard him tell me that before, Eli, and usually when he tells me that, that means they got something else up their sleeve. Will Lynn was standing here talking to Mike, and they were talking about what they were going to do to the truck at the halftime break, which, as you said, is coming up very, very soon. So don't count these guys out yet.
We're used to calling it a halftime break. You're right, and technically today it's going to be your 2/3 of the way through break. NASCAR affecting the timing of the competition yellows today. Instead of going halfway, they went 1/3, and then at the 2/3 portion. Let's mention that they are taking again Rick McRae to the Kern County Medical Center here. We just checked with Dennis Huth, NASCAR's Vice President of Administration, who tells us that McRae is talking to the medical staff. However, he has already been taken from the premises to the medical center here for observation. That's all that any of us know right now, but he was talking to the medicals, and that certainly is good news after a savage-looking accident on the back straightaway. We're back to Southern California in just a moment. There is the top 10 as we remain under a red flag here at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California. The accident involving Toby Butler and Rick McRae. Again, we've already talked to Butler. McRae, we are told, was talking to the medical staff. He has been taken to the Kern County Medical Center. Interesting folks, Kent and Jerry, a couple of guys down on the truck in the tape department, were watching the video of the accident, and they came up with something really interesting. Watch right here. You see McRae, he's the 0-2 against the outside, and that's Jack Sprague right in front of him.
And he's tucked behind Sprague's truck. Sprague sees it and goes around, but McRae's there when Sprague goes around, and boom, he's right there on Tubby Butler. So in Rick McRae's defense, I think he was tucked in behind Jack Sprague's truck and could not see it.
Now watch it again. You'll see Sprague come by. There's the green and white truck, just does veer by, and here comes McRae in the 0-2. So nice job by the guys down in tape, and they caught that on the look, and we didn't. But it was very possible that McRae, if he didn't hear from his spotter, just never knew that there was anybody else sitting there.
And Eli, that last rerun there we saw, that just shows you how dramatic that impact was, but that says a lot for the construction of these trucks. Even though we had fire, even though we've got a guy that has been to be checked on, it says a lot for the construction of these trucks and how safe these trucks really are.
Glenn, I see you've made your way over to a guy who's going for his 7th win of his career at this racetrack. Bill Sedgwick. It might well be his day.
Well, it could be, Eli. He certainly put on a show there early as he came. I woke him up. Sorry, Bill. Bill, you came on strong there right at the beginning. Then you took the lead, then you fell back. What happened?
Well, we were a little bit too fast too soon. This diehard Chevy tightened up a little bit in the middle coming out. I know everybody else is loose, but I feel like if we can loosen it up a little in the center coming off in this next 100, I think we'll be real good. You know, this diehard Chevy's just like their battery. We never give up.
I like that attitude. Bill, what would it mean to you to be able to win here in front of your hometown fans again?
It'd mean a lot. I've won a lot of races here in Winston West, a couple in Southwest Tour, and good people out here. This is my home track, and I'd love it more than anything, especially for us, the diehard people, Paul Bafco and everybody back at Sears.
Well, guys, it looks like we're getting close to refiring them again. All the safety equipment is off the racetrack. The gate is still open back here, so we're not going to run yet, but we'll let Bill continue to cool off there. Actually, you can go back to sleep now, Bill. See you later, buddy.
Sweet dreams there, Bill. They have brought another ambulance in through that crossover. They're making sure all of the fire extinguishers are swapped out for fresh ones, and as soon as all of that takes place, we should be going back to racing here at Mesa Marin. Welcome back, everybody. While the red flag continues to fly here at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, let's talk a little silly season here, Larry McReynolds. Those are the teams that are basically expecting no changes for 1997, and it's a handful, more than a handful, but at the same time, not as many as you'd think. Silly season is kicking in big time here in the Craftsman Truck Series.
Well, you know, Eli, it's no different in Winston Cup, Busch Grand National, and I think it just boils down to pressure to perform. Maybe your season hadn't went like you thought it should go. You think maybe you need to go to another team, see if it can make it better, or maybe a team feels like that driver needs to go to another team and they'll try another driver.
There are some of the changes for the 3 truck with Skinner moving on to Winston Cup. We saw Jay Sauter again standing at the back of the Goodwrench transporter here today. No official announcement, though I have heard some interviews already that indicate clearly Sauter will be taking over there. QVC folks might not be back with the Dave Resendiz team. They see some other changes. The 43 is expecting to announce a driver change with Rich Bickle leaving Richard Petty's operation to go over to the Darrell Waltrip Motorsports. It's likely that the 30 and the 43 would be involved in that. A lot of folks are, the rumor mill certainly, although no confirmation whatsoever, but the rumor mill sounds fairly accurate and excited about Jimmy Hensley moving on to Richard Petty's truck next year. Harry Ranier with a new team, so a lot of talk there. Toby Porter, his name is mentioned with Harry Ranier. There'll also be about 5, 6, maybe 7 new, totally brand new Craftsman Truck Series teams. So lots going on. It's kind of nice for you, I mean, in your situation now, not being involved in a silly season in Winston Cup. And Glenn, you've got a guy who's already made known his plans for 1997, Rich Bickle.
Yeah, he's moving over to work with Darrell Waltrip, but you got a great run going today in this Richard Petty Dodge. Rich, what about it?
Well, it's coming. Georgia Pacific Dodge running great. You know, it's just this place here, you really conserve tires. Started off there in the beginning, got on the outside, ran really good, and I said, I better back off this thing and save it for the end. And, you know, we got 100 and some laps left. I'm pretty good off of this turn 2, but I'm pushing off of turn 4, so I can't get a good run. So I'm just going to work on a little bit at the brake and not make many changes. And, you know, I'm just kind of sitting back here, save it for the end.
Rich, we're talking about silly season, about your plans for next year. Do you find yourself looking forward to that right now?
Well, just a great opportunity. I mean, to drive for Richard Petty this year and then go with Darrell Waltrip next year is, you know, two of the best guys in the game, the motorsports, and, you know, I got to take my hat off to both of them. But I ain't worried about next year right now. I'm worried about today. And, you know, with this our best shot, you know, with the rest of the year coming on, that we can win a race. And if I get a little bit of adjustment out of this thing, I think it has something for it at the end.
We'll keep our eye on Bickle. They have refired the trucks right now. They'll be moving away shortly, Eli.
All right, while Glenn was chatting, one of the fire officials went around to all of the fire trucks and took out the used fire extinguishers, replaced them with full ones as everybody gets set now for the resumption of the event here. Ford Credit presenting the Ford Dealers 300. Let's remind you that commercial transportation for this broadcast has been provided by Ryder, the official transportation company for Opryland. The trucks are rolling. We're at lap 185 of 300. A lengthy red flag period now concludes. We are back to Bakersfield, California in a moment. Take a look at the top 10. There you see it. Hornaday has been the leader now since lap 131. And on down the line, Resendiz, Bliss, and Doug George. Man, it's nice traveling with Larry McReynolds. Everybody knows you. I mean, there are folks waving through this window saying, hey, good to see you again.
People I've never seen before. It's a great crowd out here at Bakersfield, and they have filled this place to capacity here today.
And then some. One thing, though, we were laughing earlier, but it's true. I mean, they got counties worth of parking here. I mean, you can. And there's no lack of parking area. They've got better than 10,000 folks. And again, Marion Collins, who owns the track, says they're far and away their largest crowd ever, and that's great to see. All right, here we go. Back to green after the red flag. We're at lap 189. Heading towards lap 300. There's also the break coming up before too long from lap 195 to 200. Somewhere in that period, the flag will fly yet again. Squeeze play there. Michael Dockin in the 9 just does get around Mike Hurlburt in the 11.
Guys really can reach down and get all they can out of these trucks here with just 10 laps to go here before they get to put 4 fresh tires in. There you see Hornaday's really stretching it out over Sprague as they head into turn 3.
Rutman right there in the picture now. He's the number 80 truck driving for Jack Roush.
I believe one of Hornaday's biggest advantages is when it comes up off the corner. You're really able to get back to the throttle and really get some good straightaway speed.
17 top 5 finishes this year for Hornaday. There, meanwhile, is a scramble ongoing for the 4th spot. Sedgwick in the 17, Bickle in the 43. They picked right back up where they left off during that red flag period a short bit ago. Lap 192. Still the scramble for 4th and 5th spot. We were under red for 21 minutes and 53 seconds. For those of you who keep tabs on such statistics, red flag for 21 minutes and 53 seconds here today. There's the Vetvisor field summary. Take you all the way back. Old T.J. Clark, haven't talked much about him, but he's hanging on the lead lap at 13th spot.
Sprague definitely not giving up. Sprague's truck looks like he gets down in the corner, maybe a little better than Hornaday, but Hornaday really gets a good bite up off the corner.
They're nose to tail, and at the same time, they're about 1 8/10 seconds now ahead of 3rd place Joe Rutman. Then Bickle, then Sedgwick, then Skinner, then Butch Miller, followed by Resendiz. Again, there's that battle between Sedgwick and Skinner. 5th and 6th spot, respectively. And Butch Miller right behind them, and Walker Evans' 2nd truck. One of the things we didn't talk about before in the silly season discussion, the fact that Dodge and the Dana Corporation not coming back with Walker Evans for 1997. There's his team truck with Butch Miller at the wheel. I talked to Walker this morning, and he said, well, yeah, it put a crimp in our plans, certainly, but we'll be around next year. Don't count me out.
You know, I don't think we talked about it either, Eli. I think at that first competition yellow that Ron Esau was going to get in that truck and drive the last 200 laps for Walter Evans. I know Ron was pretty excited about doing that because I think he normally drives the truck that Butch Miller is running in the race here.
Right, 1986 Southwest Tour champion Ron Esau. There you've got the battle between Joe Rutman and Rich Bickle. That is for third and fourth spot now, and here comes the caution as the competition yellow is going to fly. They battle for position back to the stripe. Skinner and Sedgwick. Fans loving it. Skinner gets the spot. So Skinner ahead of Sedgwick as the competition caution will fly at lap number 199. It'll be officially lap 200, the first lap of caution when they come across. And NASCAR will now give these teams a handful of moments to put on some fresh Goodyear Racing Eagles and get back to it.
You know, the fans may wonder, why would Skinner push the envelope that hard and race that hard back to this caution with 100 laps to go? That's one more position forward that Skinner will get to start when they go back racing after this break here.
So we are with you live at Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California, 2/3 of the way home. Fresh tires, a fill up of Unocal Racing fuel, and right back to work. We return in a moment. We are back with you under the competition yellow. It's at lap 199 of 300. We've got 101 laps remaining. Everybody busily at work on their respective trucks. The Jack Roush team working on the Line-X truck down there, and Glenn Jarrett is supervising.
Yeah, and that's a scary thought if I'm supervising work. Joe, we didn't get a chance to talk to you on the backstretch over there. You've been kind of the quiet guy. This truck looks awfully good, though.
Well, we've been fighting some problems. You know, first we got to put our new bed liner in, and I think it'll make us handle better the rest of the race. And they're gonna apply that here at halftime. You know, we wanted to wait to see how much advantage it was be with the bed liner and without. But all kidding aside, we're really excited about the sponsorship. But what our problem is we're just a little bit tight, and we're just taking fine adjustments, and it appears that we're close, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and we're not doing either right now. So we need to pick the pace up a little bit. We're having a lot of fun, and we want to get up there and race with the boys for sure.
Well, he's been able to do that so far, and his crew chief told me that they're going to work on the track bar adjustment just a little bit to try to loosen the truck up to come off the corner. Meanwhile, there's a lot of work going on Mike Skinner's truck behind Joe here. A little bit of consultation going on with Jack Sprague, his crew chief Dennis Connor. I know that they were pleased with the way his truck ran. We'll get an update on what everybody's doing here and get back to you in just a second, Eli.
All right, Glenn. Of course, Joe Rutman, 6 top 10 finishes in the last 7 races. He's been real hot. When what he was saying there about that truck bed liner, his new sponsor Line-X, it's a spray-on truck bed liner, as opposed to one that you drop in conventional manner. This is a spring-on one for Jack Roush Racing down there. While we have time right here, why don't we bring you the Western Auto Trucker Profile. Western Auto, where quality and service are #1. One of the big names out here on the West Coast, particularly this weekend, is that man, Doug George. You see him there in the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour machine, but today started 13th in the Ortho truck. He has won 5 times here at Mesa Marin, but really he's used this year to learn a lot and prepare for 1997.
We've learned a lot. You know, I never ran any of the tracks back east, and definitely a learning experience, and we have learned a lot. You know, we've wrote a lot of notes for next year, so hopefully maybe that'll help us for next year. From the way everybody talks, the sponsors, the owners, the crew guys, we're all pretty much supposed to stay intact, including myself, and do this for next year. And the way they talk, they're going to increase and step up to the plate per se, and get the program even in better shape than what it is now.
That is Doug George, who finds himself in the top 10 here this afternoon. Work continues during this competition yellow, and now Glenn is sharing his expertise with the Goodwrench team.
On Skinner's truck, guys, and they're making a camber adjustment. They're adding some camber to the right front. They don't like the way that the tire is wearing. He's not getting quite enough of the tread patch on the racetrack. It's going to help the thing turn just a little better. Larry, you were noticing how his truck would not turn in the center of the corner. So they're working on the front end setting on his truck. Also, Will Lynn going around. They are making air pressure adjustments on the truck as well. And Larry, they're telling me that they're changing these things a quarter of a pound. Now, I know you guys do that. What does a quarter pound to a half a pound of air pressure adjustment do to a vehicle?
Well, a good rule of thumb is what we have found is 1 pound of air is worth about 20 to 25 pounds of spring rate. So it's pretty much incremental. A quarter pound's worth about 5 or 6 pounds of spring rate, which at a track like this where you run the air pressure really low in the tires and you run pretty soft springs, it can make a significant difference. And that's an interesting change they're making on the 3 truck, putting more camber in the right front. They're leaning the tire in, and the more camber you can run in that right front, the more negative you can run and lean it in at the top, the better a truck will turn. You just got to be careful not leaning it in too far where it wears the inside of the tire out too bad.
Larry, is there anything else that they can do that would make as fine an adjustment as a 5 to a 6 or 7 pound spring rate adjustment in terms of jacking on the turning the jack screws up over the springs? How many rounds is that equivalent to?
Well, I would say again with these soft springs, you know, it may be equivalent to maybe not a complete round of bite out, but it would be pretty close to it. I keep hearing these guys talk about their trucks not turning in the center, and what I'm going to be interested to watch here is that they don't jump across the fence here and get their trucks turning too good and make them loose off. We see this a lot at North Wilkesboro. The drivers will be complaining about their cars not turning in the middle of the corner. You keep freeing them up. Next thing you know, you got it loose up off the corner, which really can turn you a lot worse than if the truck's not turning in the middle.
Hope you've been able to follow all. That's great to have you with us here, Larry, because Larry McReynolds and, of course, Glenn, who is himself a former racer, able to help out on some of the interesting turns and twists of preparing a race machine. Don't forget tonight, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, the PM edition of Race Day. Rick Benjamin and the whole crew joining you right here on TNN Motorsports. That's tonight at 11 o'clock from TNN. Next week, we'll all be at the Rock, the North Carolina Motor Speedway in Rockingham, the NASCAR Busch Series. Their point battle is a dandy now, the AC Delco 200, 2 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. And then 1 week from today, we'll have the AC Delco 400, 12:30 Eastern Time, and you won't recognize the Rock if you've not been there since earlier this season. They have done so many capital improvements. Hope you can join us right here on TNN next Saturday and Sunday from Rockingham. 101 laps to go in Bakersfield. We're back to it in a moment. Getting set to go back to green with 101 laps remaining. There you see your top 10. Others on the lead lap are Nathan Butke, Walker Evans' truck now with Ron Esau aboard, and in 13th spot, T.J. Clark as we get back at it here in Bakersfield. Another great jump by Hornaday. Raceway, and some pretty good scrambles now as Sprague has caught up with the leader again. And there you see Sedgwick trying to go wide in the 17 with Skinner. Might have gone too wide.
Skinner knows he's got his last set of fresh tires. He's got the last adjustments that can be made on that truck, and there he goes around working on Sedgwick for 6th position. So I believe Skinner's going to be a factor more here the day's out.
He knew he was going to be after he told Glenn that he didn't quite know if he was going to be or not. That's 6th place right there.
Thing about it, the guy he's chasing in the points, he's at the point of the lead right now, so he knows he's got to go in this last 100 laps.
It's amazing the kind of year Hornaday has had. But, you know, so too Skinner right there in the 3. 7 wins, 5 poles, 16 top 5s. 17 top 10s, and here comes a battle for the lead if Skinner, or at least Sprague, can make the outside work. That's not been his strong suit today. Others have made that work.
There he looks to the inside going into turn 3. Again, Hornaday's truck drifts up just a little bit, but as Hornaday's truck has done all day, gets a really good bite off the corner.
Joe Ruckman now coming into the scene. There you see him. He's in 3rd. His best finish of the year was twice in 4th spot in Richmond and just a week ago at Sears Point International Raceway. So Ruttman beginning to rumble now with 6 top 10s in his last 7 races.
I asked Joe this morning, I said, Joe, what have you guys done the second half of this season? He looked at me and said, Larry, I don't know. We really haven't changed anything. We just got things starting to click and work now.
I'm glad it's worked out for Joe Ruttman. He was looking forward to the race at Richmond back in early September as the turning point. They had come up with some new things for the truck. There you see Rich Bickle in the 43. 4th and 5th place, his battle. This one is for the lead now. Sprague couldn't quite make it go. Man, Hornaday's got a little something extra tucked away.
Really comes off that corner good. Hornaday not quite staying on the bottom like he had been most of the day, but he really gets a bite off that corner, and that 16 truck really handles down that straightaway.
Here again goes Sprague, trying to outdive Hornaday into the corner. If you're just joining us, we'll mention again that all Hornaday has to do, certainly not that easy, but all he's got to do is finish 6th or better in the 3 remaining races, and the championship is his. He needs a 6th here, a 6th in Phoenix, and a 6th at Las Vegas, and then everybody else can do whatever they want. The championship would be Hornaday's.
These guys really racing this hard this early in this segment. It's going to take a toll on those rear tires. Joe Ruttman sitting back there in 3rd probably says, guys, you go ahead and race like that. I'm going to sit back here and watch you burn your tires up.
At the same time, though, the front 3 have pulled away significantly from the next group. There you see Resendiz and Bliss. They're battling now for 8th and 9th place. Now up front, Sprague again. This time he's trying to make his move earlier. He's trying to make that move earlier and earlier on the back straightaway going into 3.
With the kind of bite that Hornaday's been getting off the corner, there you saw it off turn 4. Hornaday pulls back up on Sprague, pulls to the high side through 1 and 2. It's a drag race down that back straightaway. Both the trucks pretty equal right there. They get off in the corner together good. Hornaday slips a little bit there, and Sprague makes the pass coming off turn 4.
So Hornaday, who's had the lead since lap 131, will yield it here at lap 212. A total of 189 laps all day is what Hornaday has led. But now Sprague trying to have a little more success than earlier. Jack led from lap 68 through 71. That's a heck of a battle right there.
Give him a little love tap down there in turn 4. Says, you might have went by me, but I'm still here.
Not that Sprague is holding up Hornaday, but they get together again. And off the corner, Hornaday is so strong. I'll tell you, Hornaday showed something there, though. He could have turned Sprague all the way around, too. Let him right himself and pull on.
Hornaday's starting to work that high side just a little bit.
Fans just eating this up. Hope you're enjoying it here on TNN. We're at lap 214 of 300. Just off the picture is Joe Ruttman. There you see him in the 80. He's running in 3rd. Then it's better than 2 seconds. Almost 3 seconds now. Back to Rich Bickle in the 4th spot. Also, you've got Sedgwick and Rich Bickle. You've got Butch Miller involved in that scramble. There they are, Sedgwick and Miller, right there in the 17 and 19, respectively.
Bill's truck just not handling like it did maybe in the first part of that second segment, or the first segment like it did, and just can't quite get the handle on it there. The truck will not stay on the bottom as Butch Miller moves past it.
At lap 216 of 300. Sedgwick 6th and 7th. Got Bickle and Skinner. That's 4th and 5th position. Just a half truck length apart.
Skinner's truck definitely looking like it's going through the bottom a little better. Of course, he's only got about 18 laps on these tires. It'll be interesting to see if it'll stay down there once the tires get some laps on.
Into turn 3 they go. Outside of the 11 of Mike Hurlburt. side worked earlier, not that time. Bickle gets his own pretty good jump off the corner. We've also got Resendiz, Bliss, and Nathan Butke going around Hurlburt's truck right there as we ride with Bliss. That is going to be 9th, 10th, 11th position on your screen right there.
What we got to remember, Mike Bliss has worked his way back to 9th from spinning and almost going a lap down earlier in the race.
Right, he spun at lap 113 up there in turns 3 and 4. And has more than salvaged a heck of a run here today. Moving around Kevin Harvick. There's Dave Resendiz, last weekend's winner. And here comes Bliss, that is for position. There the battle comes to the start-finish line, back into the corner. That is 8th and 9th spots up for grabs. Resendiz is running that high line, has been all day.
He's been up there all day, and I got to say, if there's a truck that probably has stayed there all day long and made it work pretty good, it's been Dave Resendiz. He's been entering high, running through the middle, and even exiting high off the corner.
Dave has matured as a driver. He had some rough edges back in his modified days. But ever since his Busch Series runs and now here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, I've just been able to watch him mature as a driver. Moving inside of Kenny Hendrick in the 32. They'll all bypass him. Meanwhile, back up front, Jack Sprague still shows the way over Ron Hornaday Jr. There you see the Quaker State colors trying to pull off another victory here at Mesa Marin Raceway as TNN is live in Bakersfield, California. Welcome back, everybody, in the shadows of the Tehachapi Mountains, just off behind turns 1 and 2. We're watching a good scramble for a number of positions. Oh, and problems up in turns 3 and 4. Two trucks, including Butch Miller and Bill Sedgwick, get together, and caution is on the speedway. Caution is on the speedway as Miller, who is running in a position for the lead 6th and 7th spot, actually, and they got together and their day is done, and what a bummer for Sedgwick.
Looked like they just was doing some good hard racing for position, and you know, the bottom groove's been working, the second groove's been working, but once those guys got up in that 3rd and 4th groove, it gets real slick up there, and that's looked like maybe what happened. They just couldn't get the truck turned when they got up that high.
Take a look at it again.
Go down the back straightaway. Bickle, Miller, Sedgwick. Sedgwick just got in there hard, got into Miller, and took them both up to the high side. Just a little bit of, I won the contest getting in the corner, but you was in my way.
Drilled him right in the caboose. The wonders of replay telling us exactly what happened. And there you see it again from a different angle.
Both these guys just racing hard for position, knowing the laps are winding down. Maybe didn't quite have their trucks handling as good as they'd like to have them, but still was up there bidding for the top 10. Sure, Bill Sedgwick really dejected, as we talked earlier. He really had high hopes coming in here today, turning this season around.
Bill Sedgwick, one upset driver. He was running in 6th, and there you see he'll be heading towards the transporter, and his day was done. Actually had the lead for the first time in a year. Had the lead back at lap 124 through lap 130.
Here you see Butch Miller coming to the pits, leaving pit road there.
There you see where the hit was made.
Sedgwick hit him there, and Butch didn't do anything wrong, and Bill just racing hard, getting in the corner, trying to get that position.
So it wasn't to be for Bill Sedgwick, who, as we said, had gone a full year in between leading events. But his day is done. Butch Miller, however, able to continue. We're at lap 234, and Glenn Jarrett has caught up with Bill Sedgwick in the garage.
And he doesn't look very happy. Bill, what happened up there?
Well, testing at Vegas, Mike Skinner told me don't run a single master cylinder. If something breaks, you're going to crash. Brake pedal went to the floor, broke a brake line or something. I don't know. It's right on in the wall. Hit a ton.
Are you okay, though? You got out of the truck on your own?
I just hated for Sears, diehard batteries, and everybody. They've been supporting us all year long, and we just haven't been giving them very much.
You can tell he is upset. He had a great run going. As you said, Eli finally got the lead. Looked like he might have a truck to do something with. Then equipment failure.
We were watching it again, Glenn, while you and Bill were talking, and yeah, the truck never did slow down.
Yeah, just you definitely looked like something went amiss there, and no brakes. That's what happens.
So the day is done for Sedgwick. We, however, still have much racing to go. We're 65 laps from conclusion. We come back with more in a moment. Welcome back, everybody, to Bakersfield, California. The restart, somewhat hairy in the middle of the field as Bob Keselowski either missed a shift or had something break. And meanwhile, up front, the scramble for the lead is a dandy as Sprague, the leader, tries to hold off Hornaday, who wants that top spot.
Hornaday again getting that good jump on the restart. Got under Sprague, but Sprague won the contest. But there's Hornaday right through the center of the corner. Really runs up on Jack Sprague. Jack Sprague pulls away a little bit up off the corner down the straightaway.
Hornaday has led 189 of the 239 laps that we have run thus far today. Rutman is third, Skinner fourth, Bickle fifth, Resendiz is sixth, Bliss is seventh, Butke is eighth, Doug George is ninth. Ron Esau driving now for Walker Evans is in 10th, and 11th is Butch Miller. Even with that accident before, Butch never did lose a lap.
See who's in the picture there now, running fourth, racing Rutman for third. Is that the 3 truck? Mike Skinner.
The guy didn't think he'd be around to watch the close-up finish for the win. You never know. Again, Skinner, Bliss, Butch Miller, Jack Sprague, the only 4 drivers to have completed every lap here in the Truck Series events at Mesa Marin over the last couple of years. Last year, Hornaday won the April race, and Skinner won the event a year ago in October, though it was only a 200-lapper. This is the longest race the series has ever run in number of laps, this being a 300.
You know, even with the number of laps, Eli, still got a little under 60 laps to go. 11 trucks still on the lead lap. Well of a race here today.
And not that much of an attrition list either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are out of the event. That is all from the starting field of 36.
There you see those 4 trucks go down the back straightaway. You know, they might be content just for a few laps here to watch some laps wind down here and get toward the end and then race for position. Hornaday's truck just really goes through the center of the corner, but Sprague wins that contest up off the corner.
Earlier today, this event red flagged for some 21 minutes because of a major accident involving Rick McRae, who hit Toby Butler's truck after Butler's machine had stopped on the back straightaway. That was the accident right there. Updating the medical situation, Rick McRae is in Memorial Hospital. He is all right, being held there for observation as we see the battle for the lead now, as this time Hornaday gets the jump going into turn number 3 and takes the top spot away from Jack Sprague. The other driver involved in an accident, Toby Butler, taken to Kern Medical Center, and he too is okay. So a severe looking incident. Thankfully, both drivers are okay. And the lead now again in control of Ron Hornaday here at lap 246.
There you see Joe Rutman. He's hanging right with those 2 guys, waiting for his opportunity if they open the door for him. Passing the lap truck of Mike Hulbert.
To talk about the kind of year that Hornaday has had, his 22nd place finish at Wilkesboro, we all saw that a couple weeks ago. His first and only non-top 10 finish of the year. 17 top 5s. 17 top 5s in 21 races.
Pretty phenomenal. That just says a lot for Hornaday's driving style, for his engines. No engine attrition whatsoever.
Right.
And just for the guys putting the cars together. It says a lot for that whole race team.
This is the 5th time today that he has led the event. There you see Resendiz and Bliss. They're continuing their 6th place battle. We're riding with Mike Bliss.
While those guys have been battling up front, this group is kind of closing in on the lead group.
Little by little. And everybody is battling for position. Oh, something there getting together. Sprague and Hornaday, they got together. For a moment, it looked as though something was amiss with Sprague's truck. But a closer look, they just made contact. But all of those machines are battling for position. Everybody in that pack going for position. Watch it again, that deal off turn number 2.
Here you see they go off into turn 1 through the middle of turn 2. Sprague just beats Hornaday back to the gas, gets to it, just gives Hornaday a little tap there. Sprague loses some momentum by doing it. They go on about their business down the backstretch.
Lap 252. Just 48 laps to go, 24 miles here in the Southern California desert. Maybe that's why Walker Evans' truck is doing so well. All of his great desert racing successes over the years, very much at home here. Ron Esau now behind the wheel of that Dana Corporation truck, and there goes Skinner, third. Got it. Here comes Bickle. He'll take advantage as well. They both power by Joe Rutman. So Rutman from 3rd to 5th in the span of 700 feet of a back straightaway.
That's the thing. If you get a little bit out of the groove, there you see Resendez getting into Rutman just a little bit down the front straightaway. But if you get out of the groove just a little bit, it's like the trucks just follow each other by you, kind of freight train by you as you would if you was drafting at Daytona.
All the trucks going by Bob Brevac. That is he slow on the low side of the racetrack. The veteran from Ashland, Wisconsin, Bob Brevac. Meanwhile, on the track, there you've got Resendez trying to power his way by Joe Rutman if he can. That's for 5th spot.
You almost get the feeling as bad as Joe's sliding backwards that something maybe's going to miss.
Wrong, yeah.
The handlings went away. Maybe he run the truck just a little too hard there and got the goodie out of the tires. There you see Resendez moving by him on the high side off of turn 4.
And there's Resendez using the high side again. Glenn Jarrett, there's a heck of a battle coming down the stretch here.
Oh, tremendous battle. And Larry, I got a speculation to make. The adjustments that they made on Skinner's truck during that last break, adding the camber to it, getting it to turn, looks like it's made a whale of a difference in that truck.
It really has. This truck, even, almost 60 laps into this run, it's definitely running the bottom of the racetrack better than it has the entire first part of the race.
And earlier today, again, not to be redundant, but we talked about it way back when we signed on. Many of the teams were saying that 45, 49, 50 laps is when they really started to see their tires wear down just a bit. And here we're now, as you say, almost 60 laps into this run, and we're not seeing quite the skating that we were earlier in the day.
Well, that's the thing, in those first 200 lap runs, they could conserve their tires just a little bit because they knew they had a chance to put fresh tires back on. They've got the last set of tires that they're going to get. No more fresh tires. This is going to carry them to the end.
That's the 5th place battle you're looking at, and old Dave Resendez charging to the front. Dave Resendez in a private battle with Mike Bliss for best in class among the Ford trucks this year. The top 3 in points, of course, Chevrolet, and the 4th place battle in points, the Fords. And Dave Resendez with his win at Sears Point. And now the fine performance here. Had an 82-point lead on Bliss coming in their own private battle. And although Bliss is having a fine run here today, Resendez is still a couple of positions up on him. That's the lead. Jack Sprague got to start looking around now. Just 39 laps from the finish. He's getting a little antsy.
Hornaday putting that truck right on the bottom, just where he's had it most of the day. They're going to be running up on some lap trucks here shortly, and that seems to play as much of a factor into it as anything, is just where and how you catch these lap trucks.
They've got Andy Ginsman ahead of them. Ginsman will give him room. He'll go outside. There he is being bypassed. Still 11 teams on the lead lap. Hornaday, Sprague, Skinner, Bickle, Resendez, Rutman, Bliss, Butch Miller, Nathan Butke, Doug George, and Walker Evans' truck with Ron Esau at the wheel. Here come the leaders again. Sprague trying it. Inside, outside, all around the town.
Hornaday held that low side all the way off the corner down the straightaway.
And here comes Skinner to the outside for 2nd place. While they were playing bumper pool, Skinner said, I'm going.
I know Skinner caught me off guard, and I think he did the same with Sprague while he was up here racing Hornaday, as you said. He moves around Sprague on the outside in the second place.
So Skinner, of course, the good news is for Skinner, he's second or third. The bad news is the guy who's got the point lead is running ahead of him. So regardless right now, there won't be that much of a change in the point situation within the series.
You look at these three guys up here racing, any wonder why they're the top three in the points?
Yeah, isn't that true? You know, that's one thing in this business. NASCAR has never made bones about the fact that they will adjust the rules to keep the competition level. There you see the points. There you see the battle on the racetrack. But do what they will, you know, a quarter-inch here, a change in the balance there, a roof line adjustment here, there, whatever. It's still the same list of suspects going to victory lane on the weekend.
The cream always rises to the top.
Resendiz out of shape. Ruttman goes by him. Problems for the QVC truck. Here goes Kenny Irwin trying to get by him. That's all further back behind these machines. But it was not a good lap for Resendiz, who had gotten way out of the groove. Bliss goes by him now. There's Resendiz.
A lot of lap trucks for these top five trying to contend with. Looks like Resendiz maybe he's a little bit loose there off the corner.
Dave Resendiz back up to racing trim there. Quick reminder, those of you tuning in, stay tuned. The Las Vegas Professional Bull Rider World Finals will be coming up next. It is live from Glitter Gulch. You'll have it here on TNN. Meanwhile, the battle for second, a good one still. That's Sprague in the 24, Skinner in the 3. They're 6 truck lengths behind Hornaday, who says, go at it, fellas.
While these guys are racing side by side, Hornaday just keeps stretching the margin out.
30 laps to go. 15 miles remaining in Mesa Marin.
Also, you see in the picture there, while these two guys are racing, Rich Bickle's up there getting ready to race with them as well.
Unscheduled stop for Resendiz. Dave Resendiz has just come off the racetrack. An unscheduled stop for the QVC team. A right rear tire that is flat. And in the instance of this, you can make a tire change with the okay of the NASCAR official. He will look over the offending tire and say, okay, go ahead and make the change. We are at lap 271 here in Bakersfield. Hornaday, Sprague, Skinner, Bickle, Ruttman, Bliss, Butch Miller and Doug George, Nathan Butke, and Walker Evans' truck now being driven by Ron Esau. All of those machines on the lead lap, with Resendiz now falling a couple of laps down. Add to the attrition list, Bob Keselowski. He's going to the garage, and we are coming right back.
Today's exclusive race coverage on TNN, Ford Credit presents the Ford Dealers 300, has been brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. And by Duraliner. Beating the leader is tough.
Back with you in Bakersfield, California. Ron Hornaday continues to lead. We have already overstayed our time constraints. We were due off the air about 17 minutes ago. Those of you tuning in for the Las Vegas Professional Bull Rider World Finals, it will be coming your way as soon as we wrap it up here, but we're not going to leave the racing fans hanging, so we're going to stick right with you through the checkered flag and then head to Las Vegas for the Pro Rodeo Finals. Unscheduled pit stop while you were gone. Nathan Butke came in some 4 laps ago at lap 277, dropping him from the lead lap, Glenn Jarrett. Those unscheduled stops this late in the day, it's devastating.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. I sent my runner down to find out what happened to Bucky. Meanwhile, I was checking in with Mike Skinner to see why he had dropped back, Eli. And Larry, you asked me the question while we were waiting to use his tires up. He got them hot. When he was racing real hard with Jack Sprague there, he backed off to cool him off. Then Rich Bickle got up under him, and he had to fight Bickle. So he finally just let Bickle go. He's trying to cool the tires down, maybe make another run in the last 15, 20 laps or so, but time is running out.
Time is winding down. Just 17 laps remain. There's Resendiz. He went a couple of laps down earlier with that unscheduled pit stop for the tire change.
Eli, he has that fresh right rear tire right now. That can be pretty important, especially when you're racing against guys that's got almost 100 laps on that right rear and it's getting pretty hot and wore out.
16 laps from the conclusion, just 8 miles. And again, those of you waiting for the Las Vegas Professional Bull Rider World Finals, that will be coming your way as soon as we leave the air. Again, this race, because of the 21-minute red flag, has overrun its time constraints, but we'll stay with you to the finish and head directly to Las Vegas as soon as we leave the air here in Bakersfield. 15 laps to go. Ron Hornaday trying for his 5th win of the year. It's not a gimme yet, though.
It really isn't. You know, I was just about to say a few laps ago it looked like it had worked down to a 2-truck battle, but there you see in the picture Rich Bickle. He's caught these 2 guys, and with about 14 laps to go, looks like 3 trucks that still could win this thing.
Walker Evans' truck in 9th position. We've talked a bit about Walker today. Staying on the lead lap with Ron Esau now at the wheel. That's the battle for the lead. Now going a lap down is that Walker Evans truck, but he had hung with the leaders all the way now to lap 287, just 13 from the conclusion.
There you see the leaders go off into turn 1. Got about 12 laps to go. They're still probably going to have to contend with a few lap trucks, and again, that could play a major role in the outcome of this event. Hornaday really protecting the bottom of that racetrack. He says, guys, if you're going to pass me, you're going to have to do it on the high side. There you see Sprague go to the high side off of turn 4, but falls back in line as they head into turn 1.
Here goes Bickle, though. He wants that outside. If he can make it stick, he can't. Couldn't make it stick. We'll be at 10 laps to go next time. Here goes Bickle for 2nd. Got a good run going into the corner up that 17-degree banking.
There you see that black truck. He's cooled his tires. He's moved back into the picture. He's not out of this thing yet.
No, not at all. 10 laps to go. Here goes Bickle for the lead. We talked earlier. Rich said if there's a racetrack out there I can win now, this would be the one because of all of his great short track experience.
Bickle working that high side. Gets a good shot off of turn 4. Moves past Sprague. Skinner follows him.
Where were we? It was in New Hampshire not too long ago. We saw a scenario like this, and here it happens again. Sprague, this time into Bickle. They will spin through the infield grass.
The caution has not come out.
They part somewhat peaceably. We stay under green. Hornaday leads. Skinner is now in 2nd. It is a goodly distance back to the 3rd place truck now. And that will be Ronnie's. No, he has gone a lap down. Ruckman now back in 3rd. A goodly distance back, and caution is on the speedway. Caution is on the speedway. There is some debris. There is some dirt that has been kicked up on the racetrack. You kind of felt it coming.
You really did. 4 trucks like that, and I might say Hornaday, Sprague, Skinner, and Rich Bickle. What a battle.
A super battle, and this one's not over. We're at lap 293. Let's take a look at it again. You just kind of felt something was coming.
Again, we've been watching it. They come off turn 2 there. Bickle goes to the low side, but Sprague's there. Bickle gets loose. It's almost like the 2 trucks got hooked together right there. They couldn't get apart from each other and slide down through the infield. A lot of damage to the left front of Bickle's truck.
Lap 293 will give you another angle as they work back into the corner.
There you see him again from the outside. Bickle moves down Sprague's all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. Nowhere for him to go, and turns Bickle a little bit there as they get together and they slide through the infield. Again, looks like they was almost hooked together right there. I thought for a minute maybe one of them was almost about ready to get up on its side. There you see Bickle's already sideways. Sprague literally climbs up on the left front of Bickle's truck. Just good, hard, short track racing with less than 10 laps to go here at Bakersfield.
Bet you they're spitting bullets.
Really was, because I tell you, these 2 guys had really 2 good trucks.
Man.
Eli, does this not say a lot for this truck series?
It does.
I mean, a 300-lap race, and there's 4 trucks with less than 10 laps to go bidding for the lead.
8 trucks still on the lead lap, and the 9th one had just gone a lap down moments ago. 2 others only went laps down because they had to come in for unscheduled pit stops. And there's not a person who has left Mesa Marin Raceway. Glenn Jarrett's down there in the Rich Bickle pit. How bad's the damage, Glenn?
Well, Eli, the only thing I could see, they were pulling the fenders away and some of the inner fender bracing and things like that. I really couldn't see any damage done to the truck other than that. It had to mess the the left front up just a little bit, but I don't know. He was awful anxious to get back out there. I couldn't tell if they're going to bring him back in or not, but they pulled all the stuff away, got most of the stuff that was dragging up off the racetrack, so sent him back out there. I don't think that it's going to be terminal. The truck just certainly won't drive like it did before. Tough break, man. That's the best chance that Dodge has had all year to win a race. I thought Bickle might be able to pull it off.
I'll tell you something, that's going to really start tangling. Here's the point situation as of this very second. And of course, the race isn't over. I've heard from folks say, why do you show us the points when the race isn't over? It doesn't matter. Well, some folks kind of like to keep track of the story as it unfolds, and that's the story as this very moment with what'll be 4 laps to go. Again, rodeo fans, keep your dial set right here on TNN. As soon as we move aside, the Las Vegas Professional Bull Rider World Finals coming up from Las Vegas, Nevada. That's just a very few moments away. Green flag, Hornaday, Skinner, Ruttman, Bliss, in that order.
Eli, they got the green with 4 to go, and it was a down finger restart, which means it was a single file restart with only the lead lap trucks to the front, so they didn't have to contend with any lap trucks.
Here they come back to the stripe. 3 laps to go. Battle for the lead, Skinner.
Skinner working that high side.
No, I'm not going to be there at the end of the race. That's what Skinner said earlier. Don't believe so. He goes to the outside, and here he comes off the corner. Skinner's got the lead with 2 laps to go, and the crowd just eating this up.
You might say nobody has left. There's nobody sitting down here either. Everybody's standing. Skinner's truck really working good on the high side, and he's actually putting some distance on Hornaday, and they're going to get the white flag this time by.
Mike Skinner looking for his 8th win of the year. White flag is in the air here at Bakersfield. Back into the corner they go. Skinner has it when he needs it. The Goodwrench colors going to victory lane. What a finish here at Bakersfield. They come to the checkered flag. Mike Skinner wins. Hornaday comes home in 2nd. Ruttman 3rd. Bliss is 4th. Sprague will come home in 5th. Hornaday will now need to finish 9th or better in the final 2 races to win the championship. We are out of time. We thank you for joining us. An interview with Mike Skinner coming up tonight on race day. For Larry McReynolds and Glenn Jarrett, I'm Eli Gold. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye, everybody.